You are.
Hello and welcome to the regular Friday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Tonight we've got a debutant, Tom, with us, and we're great to have us, and two of the fellow co-founders with me. We're going to discuss that shit show that happened. We're going to go through it in detail, and we'll probably even do a preview of the Chelsea game on Sunday, which is becoming increasingly more important by the second. And there are other things to talk about, Angie's future, the club in general. So without further ado, I want to say hello to Tom, making his debut on the show. Tom, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Good to see you all. Thank you very
Ian,
much.
Fellow co-founder, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, but shit show yesterday is probably an understatement.
Well, we'll get right into it.
We'll get to it, but it affects us all, doesn't it, Adrian? You know, when we don't play well, when we get bad results, it affects us all. And some people in the chat I'm seeing, Audio Artisan, Nige, Ben, people I consider consider friends. Even though I've only met Ben once, I don't think I've met Nigel or Audio. It doesn't matter. We're all in this together, and it feels a bit like that at the moment. We're in it together, but the ship's sinking.
And Mark, how are you? And before we start the show, you can go for the chat. But
I was all right until about 8:15 last night, and then Tottenham must have broke a record this week because they ruined my weekend before it started.
Before Mark goes through the chat, Ben, if you want to come on, you're welcome. It's about time as a mod you earned your call, mate.
Yeah. What? Bet
Mark, I'll send you the link if you want to come on.
Yeah. I was going to say, Nige. I got Nigel or Ben's number if they want to come on.
If you want to come on, let us know.
Yeah, right. Do you want me to go for
the hardest working mod on YouTube?
Yeah, he is the mod father. That is why I insisted that he was a mod on this channel.
He's a mod master. He's everywhere.
No. He's a mod father.
Mod father.
Mod father. Big up, Ben.
Right. There we are. Evening, Ben. Right. If you want to, I can come on for it. All right. I'll go for it. Big up, Nige. If you want to come on as well, just put yes in the chat or something.
I've just started the red wine. I bought 12 bottles today. So.
Evening Audio.
Evening Audio, mate.
You got Nige and
I've not had a drink.
All right.
I've not had a drink for 2 months. I know I've done it, but
yeah. Nige is saying no, but I will sort out now. I'll send Ben the link.
Okay.
All right. That's it for the chat.
Okay. Well, we'll get you on first then, Ben, if you only got half hour. Right, okay. Now to the joyous part of discussing the game, right? Team lineup. Tom, was you it's easy to be a hindsight critic, but was you happy with the lineup when you saw it? Did you think
No, I wasn't, mate.
Who would you prefer to see then? What would you?
Well, my biggest concern was as soon as I saw Brennan Johnson on the left, because if you've watched him on the left before, I mean, if he's not scoring goals for us, then he doesn't do a lot on the right-hand side. You know what I mean? His main asset is coming in at that far post on the right-hand side, on his own proper side. You know, I know not everyone likes Timo Werner, but if Son's not going to play, surely that's his natural replacement. You play a square peg in a square hole, mate. And this is the whole problem at the moment with what's going on here. You know, it's... I
thought Johnson's best non-scoring game was the League Cup game against Man City at home.
I like him, you know. He seems a nice kid. It's just annoying because, you know, he can do it. He can do it. But he's a forward. He's not a winger. He's like an old school inside forward. I don't know if people will know what an
inside right.
I don't know if people would even know what that is after what an inside right is. My granddad and my dad used to tell me about all these old school positions. That's what he is.
Ian, your take on the lineup before and after, like I say.
It was all right. I'm not sure I'd be playing Maddison though in the middle in an away game that's going to be competitive, because the reality is he's lightweight. I can remember someone saying to Danny Blanchflower that Glenn Hoddle was a luxury player, and Danny Blanchflower turning around and saying it's the bad players that are luxury players, not the good ones. But the more I think about Maddison, the more I think he's a luxury player. He's a good player in a good team that's playing well, or maybe when he's the star in a little Leicester team that actually wasn't playing that badly, but ended up getting relegated, and he wasn't that good. But when we got outfought at Palace, Maddison was there. When we needed some creativity against a team that was obviously going to play a low block against Ipswich, he wasn't there. So there's some odd things going on. Hi, Ben. Good evening, Ben.
Evening.
Ben. Yeah, Ben.
Big up, sir. Big up, sir.
I'm glad he left Son out, because I think that was the brave thing to do, but I think it was the right thing to do because his form is wretched. I personally would probably have left out Son, brought in Werner, left out Maddison, and put Kulusevski in the middle. I think that would have given us a bit more bite, a bit more oomph in there. But sometimes this is deck chairs and the Titanic, and we'll maybe go on and talk about Ange. And more I'm coming to the Ben view of the world, that we cannot progress, and of course the Mark view of the world, that we cannot progress as long as Levy's been in there, because what the last few weeks have shown is the folly of the recruitment during the summer, when we needed to strengthen in key areas. We bought some good kids. I don't doubt that Gray's going to be a great player. I suspect Bergvall will turn out to be a very good player as well. But he's obviously lightweight. But that wasn't what we needed, and we're paying the price now. We're paying a big price now.
Ben, oh, where's he gone? He's just gone.
Put the orange jumper on.
Okay, then, all right.
Totally agree there, mate. Completely agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Mark, your take on the lineup. Was you happy when you saw it?
Yeah, fairly. It was about. I mean, it's like
I can't do it without the orange jumper.
No.
I put this on, Ben.
Top man.
Yeah, free advertising.
Not want it for a while.
Yeah. No, I can understand Gray coming in for Porro, because I keep saying it on this. I keep saying it on this show. Like Porro and Udogie, they're both wing backs. They're not fullbacks. They were bought for Conte as wing backs, which is different. It's different, But I mean, Gray again threw out to the slaughter. Just fit him in where you can. He's not a right back. I don't care what anybody says. He's a number 6. I don't
even think he's that, Mark. I don't even think he is that.
No. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, but the lineup, it was what it was. It's just, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get onto the game in a minute.
We've got 4 number 8s.
Oh, we will. We will definitely get
number 8.
Yeah.
They're all number 8.
True, they are. We've got tendinates. That's all we've got. Ben, the lineup, when you saw it, was you happy with the lineup? It's easy to be
I didn't care.
Okay.
That is the worst thing about Tottenham Hotspur. It literally does not affect my life anymore. I used to get really annoyed when I saw Tottenham, and I think I've been a massive advocate of Jed Spence. I think Jed Spence, whenever he's had a chance to be given, like Coventry, for example, he came on against Coventry, was the best player on the park.
And scored.
Best player on the park by a country mile. He won't even put it. He would rather play Archie Gray out of position than give Jed Spence a go. Not even give him a chance. He didn't even bring him on in the second half.
Ben, what must he do in training that this possibly don't like?
Which is really funny. We'll get on to
hopefully we're going to go through every player individually.
After the game, when everything was going on, who was the player that protected Ange? Jed Spence.
Yeah,
Jed Spence. So clearly there is nothing between them personally as manager and player, but he's never given a chance. What that team showed to me is we're deliberately trying to reinvent the wheel. We're deliberately going out of our way to be different, rather than saying, "Okay, we want to rest Son. That's okay. You can rest Son."
Yeah.
Play Timo Werner then, who's played left wing his entire career. No. We're gonna play Brennan Johnson, who is a right-sided forward, completely out of position. We're going to play Kulusevski, who's been best when he's been playing in that number 10 role. We're going to play him at right wing. It's bonkers. It reminds me of when Pochettino played Sonny at left wing back.
Yeah.
In the final.
Bonkers.
In the semi-final. In the semi-final.
Play players in their correct position. Just play them as there are certain aspects, like Ben Davies has to play centre back because we haven't got another centre back. Because I think this is bollocks, but I've heard that Romero refused to play last night. That's what I've heard. I've heard that.
I've heard that. I know.
I think that's rubbish. I think that's rubbish. I don't think it's.
It wouldn't surprise me though.
Tom,
it wouldn't surprise me.
Even
this
though
manager deliberately plays players out of position. Destiny Udogie, when he was at Udinese, was brilliant at going down the wing, taking on his man, arriving late in the box and scoring goals.
Yeah.
No, not in an Ange system. We're going to play a player who's big, strong, fast, very difficult to get off the ball. You know what? We're going to play him in central midfield because that's the way you do it. It's... I said this to Sava. It's reinventing the wheel, but not putting on the nuts and bolts that hold the wheel on. So you're driving along and your wheels fall off because you've got no nuts and bolts on it. It's mental. It's utterly mental. And everything that happens now until because we got some really difficult games between Christmas. We got Liverpool, we got Man United at home in the cup, we got Chelsea at home in the weekend. If we make these same mistakes, Bournemouth should have had 5 or 6 yesterday.
Yeah.
They should have had 5 or 6 yesterday. Fraser Forster. People complain about Fraser Forster, but Fraser Forster has been our best player the last 3 games.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I mean, yes.
Tom, the Archie Gray, the Spence thing. I mean, to be fair to Gray, when he's come in, the kid, and I think Ange trusts him. That's why he's played him at left back, right back, and centre back.
He'd be in goal Sunday.
He definitely trusts him, doesn't he? He definitely trusts him because
I like Archie Gray as well. I'll stick up for Archie Gray. I'm not saying a bad word about him. He's a young lad. He's been chucked in at whatever position they can fit him in. Without the one he was promised to, by the way.
Yeah, they did a 3-hour presentation, didn't they? Where he's going to play.
That was part of him coming to Tottenham because he had the same agreement with Brentford that he was going to play where he wanted to play. Tottenham said, "Well, we'll do the same thing then. We'll play you in midfield." So we basically lied to him.
How do you know that? Or is it something you've heard, like the same Romero refused to play last night?
Yeah, so there's another podcast that I listen to. They're quite in with Tottenham. The Spurs Show. They're pretty good. They're one of the better ones. I was listening to them the other night.
Well, the rumour is, I think we've heard this from Archie Gray's family, that he was brought to Brentford and Thomas Frank gave him like a 2-3 hour presentation of what they wanted to do with him all through development phase, what we wanted to do this season, where we want him to play. And that was, and then the story is that Archie Gray wanted to play for Ange because his family are Celtic supporters. Yeah. So he wanted to play for Ange because he would. So he's come here, and Ange he's hung him out to dry. He's hung him out to dry. He played Archie Gray. He played Archie Gray at left back against Victor Osimhen away from home against one of the hardest away teams to ever play against. He plays him at left back.
Yeah.
If I was Archie Gray, I would be miffed. I would borderline be putting in a transfer request because everything he's doing is just going to make him feel like I'm not a good footballer. Because every time I play, people are rinsing me.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah.
He's going to be demoralised.
Ian, come in on this because, I'm respectfully disagreeing with you, Ben, because, I think at least Ange has given his chance. He's given his chance in a few positions. What's your take on?
I'm sure he'd like to be playing in central midfield, but the first time I saw Archie Gray was at Tynecastle, where he had him playing centre half. And I thought, bloody hell, he's good there. His reading of the game, his anticipation, his understanding. I suspect he'll end up being a better player. I'm just taking issue with Tom that, he was promised he'd play here, promised he'd play there. I'm always so skeptical.
Ian versus Tom confirmed. We got to have a bit of drama. Come on, lads. Yeah. Let's have a bit of YouTube beef. Throw the table in. Throw the table at him. Yeah. Get him.
We're mature and sensible on here, Ben. We're mature and sensible.
Ben, you Levy outers love a good conspiracy theory.
You've gone there already. Wow, that didn't take long.
Me and as we're two members, we're two members of the Red Sea Pedestrians, and we love it. That's what we love doing.
It should be Red Sea Gallopers, mate. Red Sea Gallopers, not pedestrians, right?
Actually, no, at the moment, Adrian, we're Red Sea Crawlers because we can barely walk.
I couldn't get all the numbers on this because you only allowed 200 letters. So, but 3 minutes, Davies yellow card, and I was thinking, oh shit, a yellow card. 3 minutes. 5 minutes, Kulu shoots straight. 7 minutes, Solanke shoots over the bar. 90 minutes, Kulu shoots wide. Then Basuma gets a yellow card. He's full for the season, right? One more, and he gets Christmas off, right? And
there was another crap yellow card.
This is all happening again, right? I mean, we did actually start quite brightly, Tom. We did start.
Yeah, we did.
Went titsy-uppy, but
but we normally do start off pretty. We have done the last few games. We've looked all right for 10 minutes, and then he's got the put. But that yellow card for Basuma, I mean, his challenges, he needs to reel it in a little bit because they're stupid. They're not even challenges, are they?
It's what's it called, Tom?
Stupid pull back in the arm.
It's the challenges of a man that's not designed to play central midfield.
Do you know?
Midfielder.
So annoying.
On that, well, you two can both come back on this. I mean, last season, Basuma had 3 suspensions, and then he went off on international duty.
Yeah,
that's not good enough.
I can also bring
ain't good enough
for Conte. For Conte, he proved he wasn't disciplined either. Basuma it's a very difficult one because again, I do feel sorry for him at Brighton
because he's a really good footballer.
Brighton, he was a box to box midfielder, strong. He's a bit languid the way he moves, but he's a good ball carrier. He's a decent footballer. No way in hell is he a defensive midfielder. He's not disciplined enough.
No.
He's not that. I was saying it in the Tottenham on Tour WhatsApp group. I'm desperate for a bread and butter footballer, a Wanyama, a Palacios, a Scotty Parker. I want someone that's in there and that's going to do one job and one job only, which is the mop up. I don't want them to be the greatest footballer, but when they do get the ball at their feet, all they know is pass to someone that's better than you. We need someone that's a bit bread and butter because we're missing that. We got because of the way we set up with the inverted fullbacks, because they're so narrow. Basuma's having to play left back and right back, so he's constantly running around.
Yeah,
he's going left to right, left to right, left to right, constantly.
Same as Sarr. Sarr's the same.
Yeah,
he doesn't. What we need is a defensive midfielder that's gonna drop between the two centre halves, so the left centre back can go left and cover that left channel, and the right centre back to go right, so he can cover the right channel. It would make things so much simpler rather than Basuma having to go there, Basuma to go there, Sarr having to. We're constantly putting out fires because we're constantly having to make 25, 30-yard sprints to make up ground because of the amount of space being left.
And that's why I think we get so many yellow cards, because the players are so frustrated with what they have to do.
Yeah.
They lose the plot. They lose the plot.
They're sprinting because they're having to make up the ground. They're having to cover. And when you've got there, you're having to make a slide tackle, which is why you're making a tactical foul.
That's it. And then that's why we're getting muscle and hamstring injuries.
The best ever central midfielder I think we've possibly had was Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick didn't move 2 inches. All we had to do was step to the right and he received the ball. We need an interceptor. And Ellie's going to love this from me because I want someone.
Højbjerg's coming into the conversation.
We could really do with a Højbjerg that's going to be there intercepting the ball, turn over the ball and pass it to someone that's better. We could really do with that. A bit of leadership.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Højbjerg's biggest fan. I wanted him gone at the end of the last season because he's not good enough. He's not good enough.
True. I agree. Ian,
we need that character to be able to turn over a ball, win that ball back, and move it forward.
But then, if there was one player that I could clone from, I mean, forget the Harry Kanes of this world, but from the last 10 years, who I think would be perfect for us is Moussa Dembele. I think he would make mega difference.
You're talking different class, didn't you?
Let's get a time machine, Ian. Let's go back. Have Dembele and Wanyama. They would love this.
Dave Mackay, Alan Mullery, Danny Blanc,
get them all. Get the entire 60s team.
Cliff Jones, Tommy Harmer. I mean, you'll have to ask your granddad about some of them. Can I go back?
Tommy Harmer was my granddad's favourite player.
Good player.
I shook Tommy Harmer's hand. I shook his hand.
My granddad's favourite player.
He was like a midget. What a ball player.
My dad's
Mark,
dad.
you've got the admin buttons. I'm not sure I've got them. I'm on my mobile phone. Anyway, David Clark's comment, Spurs again by a centre-back. I think this is a really important point David makes. Really important. Okay? So he's what you call an old-fashioned stopper. You know, going back to the old days, my idea of, a Mike England, type player. But... we agreed, we watched him, we scouted him, he fit the system. We get a player who panics under pressure, who can't play out from the back, seriously, he can't pass the football. Bloody good defender, bloody good stopper, but it's utterly hopeless in Ange's system because he can't pass the football. Why did we sign him? I mean, this comes down to really shocking recruitment. I think he's a great player in the right system. But he can't play. He can't play.
Is that also, Ian, because he doesn't have a fullback next to him to make it easier to pass the ball? Because everyone's so condensed in midfield, because you've got the two fullbacks in front of him, instead of doing what he'd usually be doing, which is moving it out wide, and then they would be moving it.
Got to go down the middle.
We have to go down the middle, which makes it very easy for teams like Bournemouth, who do have a higher press, like the Semenyos. They press us very high, so they're having to panic under. I really like players like Dragoshin. I like him, but you're right. He is a defender that's good in a 3 at the back system in Italy. He's got 2 centre backs next to him.
Yeah,
he's the guy that says, "I'm not good at football, but there's 2 things I am good at, which is defending and heading a ball." So so
precisely,
that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
But when you've got players like Fraser Forster, and let's face it, Fraser Forster was our best player yesterday, but he's not a great distributor of the ball, especially at how old he is. Why are we passing it out the back?
But you saw the Harry he nearly made, didn't you?
Why can't we hit it long? I think we've got the lowest percentage of long balls in the Premier League from the goal kick. I think we're the lowest.
We had 0 until Forster came in. Vicario had 0.
But this is sorry. There's a couple of comments in there. Sorry, Tom. This is where Ange. I mean, you all know I was a big Ange fan, desperate to get him in. So really happy when he came in. You know, when the club actually does something you think's absolutely right for once. And yet, why is Ange making what? It's all very well believing in what you do, but when the evidence before your own eyes is, saying, I don't believe, Ben shot Daniel Levy, but the gun's in his hand, his blood's all over his clothes, the fingerprints are on the gun, and the gunpowder residues on his hands. The evidence is all there. So what is it that Ange doesn't see about the way that we're playing and the players that he's got to play that system? I mean, one of the things I was thinking yesterday and today, because it has bugged me, is when I watched Ange at Celtic, it was all based on power and pace. Pace. The Abada, the Israeli boy, Jota, the one who ended up at Saudi Arabia.
You got Yogo, and you had O'Reilly, you had McGregor.
Fast, mobile players. That we've only got one player that's got any pace at all. And that's maybe I'm exaggerating, but certainly in the forward area.
As well. We've got about 3 pacey forwards in our team.
Yeah, Johnson's not slow.
Johnson's quick as well. Johnson's quick without the ball, but he's not quick with the ball. But he
is
quick.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
But let's be honest here. I mean, you're looking at the defences up in Scotland outside that top 3, mate, and I mean, come on.
You got to say though,
as soon as they played in the Champions League, mate, they were getting buried every week.
Yeah, and that's I don't want to question Celtic because Celtic are the best team in their league. But if you, I heard it the other day, when you look at the transfer budgets in the SPL, 60% of the transfer fees paid in Scotland are spent by Celtic. The other 20% is spent by Rangers, and 10% is spent by the rest of them.
Yeah, it might be right.
Just a thing on pace, guys, because I did this before on an earlier show way back, right? I mean, you got Werner and Johnson. I mean, VDV's the fastest player in the team. When you look at the forward line, the next 3 are Johnson, Werner, and Solanke at 36 kilometres. He's no slow coach, Solanke. He's no slow coach.
Yeah.
I mean, so we had loads of pace, which does frighten teams. I just want to move on to this part here. Bournemouth set piece, headed goal, far post. Now, to me, I've been banging on about this in a few podcasts. 4th set piece goal we have conceded. Not too bad in 13 games, 4. But 12th goal all competition from a right-hand side of their penalty area. You can go back to Leicester between Romero and Porro. You can go to Newcastle when they got the throw-in and it came into the box. I can go to Brighton. I can mention games. I don't want to bore everyone to death. West Ham, right? Then you got the overhead kick from Ipswich. That was West Ham, wasn't it? Then you've got the Ipswich goal, right? And this seems to be now. I like Porro. Porro's technically I think he's got fantastic technique. Look at the volley he had yesterday. He was unlucky he didn't score actually, right? But when the keeper went down, right? But defensively. I mean, I slated this player when he first came to the club for the away game against Leicester and Newcastle away when we got battered, right? I absolutely slated him. I thought, if you're a wing-back, my attitude has always been, if you're a wing-back and it means you're absolved of defensive responsibility, I do not want you in my team, right? I didn't want you in my team. He's improved defensively, but I just question the intelligent awareness when you're not looking over your shoulder. In another game, Dragerson is constantly running back to cover for him, right? And also, if you invert as Porro does, right, what you do is you stop. I mean, I don't believe you doggy inverts like a lot of people says, but I do believe that Porro does. We know he does, right? And he comes in as a number 8. The players do not invert at number 10s. They invert as 8s. They're not creative midfielders. You know what I mean? So that's a myth. But if
Can I just say good evening to Brian?
All right.
Big up, Rooney.
Big up.
Okay.
But if you invert, I think this affects Johnson, because like you're inverting. Normally, wing backs, fullbacks go blasting off down the wing, right? You get an overload against the opposing defender. Well, you don't get one when Porro inverts, because now Johnson's isolated. If the ball then goes out of Johnson, right, he's either 1v1 or 1v2. So like, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure. I would need to know if the stats have shown that when we've won games or the games we've played, that like Porro inverting has had a beneficial effect to the team. You know,
if you look at the first 10 minutes of the City game, Destiny Doggy was all over the place, and then it stopped after that 10 minutes because we looked like we were going to get battered, didn't we? Let's be fair.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they stopped. They stopped it. I don't know whether they was told to or they'd done it off their own back, but they just played as wing backs that day, and it worked.
That's how I've been crying out.
The two centre halves stayed where they were. They dropped back. And the other two guys stayed as, and look what happened.
I've been crying out for that, Tom, on this channel.
You know,
for months and months. I've been crying out for that.
I can't believe he's gone straight back to going how we were playing before after watching what LA Kane play.
Bonkers, isn't it, Tom?
It's
you
drives me insane.
You could see foul. I hate inverted fullbacks. If this was Spurs Diehards Room 101, the first thing I would put in Room 101 is inverted fullbacks.
For
100 years of football,
fullbacks
have done one thing, which is go down the wing and cross the ball. This man turns up and he's putting fullbacks in midfield when Porro and Udogie are our two best wingers. If I was manager of the team, I would be playing Porro and Udogie as wingers, because they are both really good at taking on fullbacks and crossing the ball in the box.
Exactly what Dominic Solanke wants.
That's what Dominic Solanke wants. Dominic Solanke scores quite a lot of his goals with his head, yet we don't cross the ball. The best crosser in our team, bar James Maddison, is Pedro Porro, but he's never out wide.
But this
if we do...
This is a trend at Tottenham, though. This is a trend at Tottenham. When we bought Soldado, he needed crosses. What do we have? We had AVB. What did he do? Play inverted wingers.
It's absolutely.
Right.
Funny.
It's a trend. It's a trend.
Tom, I couldn't believe this. When you watch this little montage of stuff when Soldado was playing for Valencia, most of the goals were early crosses in, sort of inside left, inside right channels. They weren't get to the byline. They were long, and he was getting between the centre halves.
Yeah, and he was the big man up top. He was the fox in the box. So he was always playing next to a big bloke.
We've got the same. I mean, I actually said I wrote a piece last close season when Ange came, and one of the things is I actually thought that he would do would be to play that Spence would get a chance. He'd play Spence at right back and play Porro at outside right. And I still think that would be his best position. But the other thing goes back to he plays 4-3-3. And yet, to me, that system just doesn't fit what he's trying to do and the personnel he's trying to do it with. Yeah. I mean, if he went 3-5-2 with, say, Johnson and Solanke up top, with Solanke with Johnson playing off the bigger man, albeit I don't think he's quite as good as in the air as you think he is, Ben. But either way, he can hold the ball up.
40% of his goals are with his head, Solanke. 40% of his goals are with his head.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, apparently so. I'd have to look up the stats, but certainly with Richarlison. With Richarlison, when he's playing, 70% of his goals are with his head. Yeah. I think Solanke's got a big
exactly. Another one. Okay.
Yeah. But even then, if you go back, let's say with the current squad, you've got Vicario in goal, and I'm delighted how well Ben Forster's done, because he's another one that was an exceptional.
Fraser Forster, not Ben Forster.
Sorry?
Fraser. It's Fraser, yeah.
What did I call him?
Forster. Ben Forster.
You called him Ben.
Wrong goalkeeper.
Ben Forster played for Wrexham, mate.
Ben Forster, no. Fraser Forster, duh.
Never mind.
So anyway, let's say you play, because we've not got a lot of resources, but you play Dragusin, Romero, and Van der Ven, and then you play outside them. You play, or let's say you play Porro or Spence, and you play Udogie. Then in the middle, you perm any three from Gray, Madison, Sarr, Benton, Kerr, Bissouma. That's any three from five, and I probably left one out, and then Johnson, Solanke up front. All right, that leaves Son out, but he's one that could come on. You've got Richarlison. I think that system works so much better, and I also don't think you're going to concede the stupid goals we give away, albeit, this, as Adrian was saying about balls into from the right-hand side of the defence. I mean, at the end of the day, you can blame the coach as much as you want, but players have to take responsibility for their own positions and their own jobs on the pitch.
I'll be honest with you, Ian. I've been saying it for a long, long time now. A long, long time. Like, he's just got to play players like Udogie and Porro. They're wing backs. They're wing backs.
Oh, I said that as
They're
well.
not full backs. They're not full backs. They were bought for Conte.
But the thing is, what is perplexing is the fact that, like, we've conceded 4 set-piece goals, only 1 goal for a breakaway. It's not the system. And when
it is, Adrian.
Okay, Mark. Okay, fine that those say it's the system. Hold on. But what I'm saying is, right, with that, right, when you're saying that, I would get that I know if I was an opposing manager, I'm attacking our right-hand side because you've got Johnson and Porro on that side, right? Because they're weak as far as I'm concerned defensively, right? But when you say it's the system, I would agree with that totally, but it's more than that. Because when you look at the goal against Fulham, we had 8 players in the penalty area. When you look at the goals against Brighton, we had players in the penalty area. Mostly every time we've had enough players to deal with a situation in the penalty area. So this is down to coaching and the players then. Why are the players not getting stuck in, basically? Why? That isn't the system. If we were caught on the halfway line on breaks all the time, I would get that. But it isn't. I'll come into more deeper reasons later when we go into the players. But what we're going to do now is go through the squad and you tell me how these people perform. So, Ian, Forster.
Oh, I couldn't agree with Ben more. The last 3 games when he's been on, I mean, considering some of the people and some of the comments on social media about him being a tree and what have you, he's been fabulous.
He is a tree, Ian, but he's a good tree in this instance.
Oh, hey, listen,
he's a tree.
More importantly, Ben, he's a big tree. He's a very big tree.
He's a willow. He's a whomping willow. It's like Harry Potter.
Yeah, Forster gets a 9 out of 10 for me for everything he's done. Stepping up, done brilliantly. Love him.
Yeah, Ben, he comes from crosses, like no one gets in his way.
No, absolutely. Yeah,
it's like Lord of the Rings and the 2 Towers when the Ents came for Isengard. It's like that. It's like that. There's a big trees avenue. Big trees.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. Well, let's face it. If Foster went in goal last night, we could have lost 5-0. And it wouldn't have been embarrassing. It would not have been embarrassing. We had 67% of the ball last night, and we created 0 chances. Clear-cut chances. 0 clear-cut chances with 2/3 of the ball. It's an absolute disgrace.
Tom, you doggy.
Hit and miss again, wasn't he? It's just, I don't know. The system just don't suit him, mate. He's such a good player. Because I watched him like Ben for Udinese, and he was brilliant. Conte brought him in. Conte wanted him straight away, but the club loaned him out. He's playing his games all wrong. At the end of last season, when he got injured, he was quite happy. When you saw him in hospital, he was laughing. Wasn't he? And he's smiling, he's sitting up in his bed. I don't think he likes playing the way he is. He's a good player. I love him. I think he's brilliant. But he's another one. Defending, he's not the greatest, is he? He's a wing back.
I think your doggy's got a very high ceiling. I really like the player.
Yeah.
He didn't have a pre-season. He was injured. He's come in. and he just hasn't hit the heights he hit last season. I mean, he looked like he got his mojo back against Man United away when won 3-0. All right, City away, blah blah. But again, like a lot of the players that struggle to find form and consistency, he's another one. But he's still a kid, isn't he?
Yeah, they're only. We forget about that as well sometimes.
It's really funny because a lot of the excuses for the club at the moment is we're playing a youth project. This is a youth project. But if you look at the majority of the players we've got on the pitch, they're all over 25. But the only player that is a young player is Destiny Udogie because he's 2021. He's the only player.
Well, you got VDV, you've got Saar, you got
VDV has been an international footballer for about 5 years now. He's been playing for a long time.
He's still developing, Ben. He's still developing.
Do you know what the funny thing was? Who got man of the match last night?
The centre half, the young centre half.
Like 19, and we're talking young players.
Was that him?
19-year-old kid. There you go. A 19-year-old.
I like Destiny Udogie, but Ange isn't playing him properly. He's a wing back. He should be wide out. Look, what they need to do is they need to stop this whole inverted fullbacks nonsense again. Because me and you, we see different. Because we sit in different positions of the ground, so we do see different things. The eye sees different things in the perspective. Yeah, I always see Udogie very close to the midfield. I want to see Udogie touching that touchline the entire game, and I want the person that's in front of him to be inverted near Solanke. I want Udogie to be going at his fullback the entire game because he is a big, strong boy. He's going to be a monster. He's 6'2". I think he's 6'2". So
is Gray and so is Bergville. They're units. These kids are units.
It's another reason why Gray should be in midfield and not as an inverted fullback. He should be in midfield because he's a big, strong boy. But back to Udogie.
I think Gray's going to be better than Bergville.
Different players.
Yeah, we have to see. We'll have to see. I want to see him with his athleticism and his pace and his strength. I want to see him running at fullbacks. I don't want to see him playing in midfield. I don't want to see it.
No.
And I've questioned, like, when we talk about inverted fullbacks, no denying Porro inverts. Last season, to me, Udogie was ploughing up and down that left flank. He wasn't inverting, but other people disagree with me. That's fine. He's not.
I always see him making those darting run-ins. I think he plays inverted, but differently. When he gets the ball, he doesn't run out on the wing. He always runs inside because you've got the wingers always staying there. So you can't run towards the wing because he's blocking you.
What I like, he's always willing to like the 1-2 with either Son or Maddison there. He's always willing, like he's always looking for that. Like I really like the player, but he's off point. He's off point this season so far for me. Udogie, Ian, Gray.
I like Gray. I like everything I've seen about him. Wherever he's played, he gives you 100%. I think he's got an abundance of ability. But I haven't, pardon my language, why haven't I fucking seen him where he's meant to play? At centre midfield. I just don't understand it. We've had some issues with fullbacks. He wants to rotate and what have you. And you go, well, if you wanted to rotate, why didn't you put Spence into your European squad? Why haven't you given Spence a game? What does the boy need to do to get a game? It's not as if anyone thinks he can't play. We all think he can. It's not as if Bissouma and Bentancur, I know he's suspended, or Saar have been setting the world alight. Give him a chance where he's best and give him a run. It can't do any harm.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, for attitude, one of the things I always say, you in any employment situation, you can't coach attitude. That has to come from within. That boy has great attitude.
I agree with that.
I really like that. I think it's really because we've got so many friends from the Leeds community that hang out with us in a lot of the chats. And there's someone that goes to my pub that's a Leeds fan as well. So we talk about Archie Gray a bit.
Yeah,
I
they
really
were absolutely gutted when he left there. They were absolutely
he lost
gutted.
the ball well too many times yesterday. He was losing the ball left, right, and centre because he's not a right back. He's a central midfielder. He's a give and go player. Gets the ball, 2 seconds, pass it. He's give and go, give and go. He's not someone that's going to get the ball and drive. He's not that player.
Yeah. So I'm inclined
to
played 30 games for Leeds at fullback.
Because he had to, mate. That was an emergency.
He played 3 at number 10. But in agreement with you guys, when he played in midfield against Chelsea, he bust the midfield. He bust it.
Right.
Sorry, can I put this up? Ben, sorry, can before we move on from that, someone highlighted it and I put it back again. This is right about Spence. The only one problem with it is we just gave him a longer contract.
Yeah.
What the hell is that about?
Yeah. Can I just have my quick say on Gray? Now, I feel... Yeah, well, I am slowly sneaking through it, right? I feel sorry for Gray because the system we play, right, or teams know, all they got to do is double up down.
Put the ball
double up down the sides. Archie Gray, right, be it right back, left back. For a start, he's neither of these. And secondly, with the teams doubling up on him, he's being left. He's being hung out to dry. He literally is being hung out to dry. And if we're not careful, we're going to ruin his confidence. I'm not saying he's a fantastic footballer, but again, like I was saying when the channel first started and I was on here, it's all right bringing these kids in. You've got to get experience with them, someone they can learn off. You know, I mean, it's all right bringing Archie Gray and Bergvall in. Where was the Eze in the summer? So someone that would improve us immediately. Archie Gray coming in, does he improve us immediately? No, he doesn't, in my opinion. No, he doesn't.
The better argument would be, as we know we needed a left back, was why did we get Odebert when we could have used that money to get a left back?
Well, whatever. But bringing in the youngsters is fine as long as you compensate that. As long as you compensate that with bringing in quality that's going to improve you immediately. Why bring in the players that we might have to wait 2 or 3 years for? And let's face it, none of us know. Archie Gray is probably going to be a fantastic player, but none of us know whether he's going to make it. None of us know.
Yeah,
he probably will.
He will. He will. He will make it.
No. But there's always a nagging doubt that he might not.
He's 19. He's 18, 19 years of age. We need to let him develop as a footballer.
Well, exactly.
And the only way you can develop as a footballer is playing in your correct position.
Well, exactly.
You never.
He has shown. Well, he's shown to me. It's my opinion. He's not let the team down, and he's not been out of depth. He's not out of his depth. He's definitely not out of his depth. Bergvall's got a kick on a little bit for me, but they're different players.
I would disagree with you because we were both there. We were both there at the Roma game, and Roma's entire tactic of the game was to switch the ball over Archie Gray's head. The first thing they did when they got the ball was put the ball over his head. They know because he is a centre midfielder. He's not a left back. They put a ball over his head and put 2 runners on him. They did it all game. And Bournemouth did it as well with Kirkes. They did it with Kirkes. Kirkes had an absolute field day yesterday. And I like Kirkes. I think Kirkes is a very good left back. But he had when he goes inverted, I think they're between 6s and 7s. I don't think when you have a young midfielder, what you do is you put an elder midfielder next to him, marshal him through the game. You see that with Liverpool when they've got the young defenders, when they play young defenders, they have Virgil van Dijk next to them to marshal him through the game, to show him what he's got to do, show him the ropes. All right, boy, you got to be here now. You got to be here now. With him there, he's got no one to help him because Kulusevski was not tracking back yesterday. And what we saw when we saw Kulusevski in the team, we thought, oh, he's going to be tracking back, which will help out Archie Gray. Kulusevski wasn't tracking back.
Right. Okay. Tom, Davies, your take on Davies yesterday?
He did nothing wrong, didn't he? He was solid again. He's a 6, 7 out of 10 every week, isn't he? Ben Davies. Since he's come in, he's played really well. I can't say a bad word about it.
Exactly what I say on here every week, Tom. That's exactly what I say.
He's a great professional. Yeah. He don't moan. He gets on with it. He's not flashy. He comes in, does the job, and goes home.
Ian, do you concur?
I'm a big fan of Ben Davies. Always have been. Never understood why he was subject to so much abuse when he's not the greatest player I've ever seen. He's certainly not the worst. But one thing I get from Ben Davies is I get 100% commitment every game. 100%. I tell you what, I saw young Tom Clark's in the chat. The day we beat Arsenal 3-0, Ben, I think there was a good few of us in one of the pubs before that. I think you may have been there as well. Yeah. I had Tom's ticket for that because where he was working or whatever, I sat with his dad, Kevin. Ben Davies got an early yellow card for a foul on Saka. And you go, oh, this could be trouble. I tell you what, he didn't even commit another foul the rest of the game. Never mind about get close to a yellow card.
He's solid. He's solid.
Absolutely solid. You don't play captain Wales. I know Wales isn't the biggest country in the world. You don't, I don't know, have any 80 caps for Wales and captain Wales because you're crap. He might not be the greatest player, but again, he's someone that's come in the last 3 games and he's been absolutely brilliant. I love Ben Davies. Yeah. And I won't have a word said against him.
Tom, he has been a good servant, hasn't he? Because he wasn't picked for 3 of the finals we were in. He didn't complain. You have no moaning. Some players, they don't get picked and they strop, don't they? You know what I mean?
I always said it. The reason why he got a lot of stick is because he wasn't the best left back in the world, was he?
No.
That's where he was getting the stick. As soon as when he plays in the middle, he's a decent, solid defender.
Yeah.
And that's what you want him. And that's what you want him to be.
And can I just say, have you been watching reruns of the show? Because this is exactly what I've been saying for weeks about Ben Davies. You know, I always say he's your 6 out of 10 player. He's never a 2, but he's never a 9 either.
Yeah.
He does what he has to do, and that's it.
Ben, because he's played well recently, there's been talk about giving him a year's extension. Is that the way forward, though?
Not for me. I think it's time for a change. If you gave him a year extension, I wouldn't be mad, but we need better. I mean, I say this is my entire argument when it comes to Tottenham. My season ticket itself is now £2,400 a year. I want to see stars on that pitch. I want to see top quality players every single week, and we're not getting them. I do like Ben Davies. I do like him, and I think he's been brilliant since he came in. I think we need to have a higher echelon of player now. I think we need to have but the funny thing is the higher echelon of player we do have are the ones that are letting us down at the moment. So you never know. We do need a couple of steady Eddies in the team. Every team has a steady Eddie in their team, and Ben Davies can absolutely fill that role.
But
I wouldn't give him a contract personally. I'd rather sign a younger centre-back. But if we gave him a contract, he'd be like, you know what, fair play. He's earned it.
Do you know what I'd do with him? Seems he's like getting old.
Yeah, make him a coach.
Coach,
yeah.
Coach.
I was just going to say that. I already think he's going to be. My nephew done a coaching camp with him in the summer. Just gone. He said he was brilliant. He loved him.
Well, on that, it's interesting.
And his name's Ben. I like people called Ben. People called Ben.
And said this was previous to our injuries to VDV and Romero. He said previously that I don't want to get another centre back in because I don't want to, hinder the progress of Ashley Phillips and Luka Vaskovic. That's what he said. Right?
Think about
Vaskovic
here and now.
Yeah. Vaskovic is coming in January.
He looks a player, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, it's what I've seen of him. He looks.
Nice. You watch him.
4 goals, yeah, and he's built. He's another tree. He's another tree, right?
6'7".
Every league he's been in, like he came from the Croatian league. I think he went to the Polish league or whatever other league, and now he's in the Belgian league with Divine at Westerlo. Right? He stepped up. Hasn't phased him at all. The guy looks quality. Can play as a number 6 as well. Right? He's a tank. Right? And the only thing is, I'm not quite sure what will happen. I know when Young Man Hook comes in, he's coming in this month because they want to look at him anyway. and we need every man we've got. We need with the injuries we've got. But Vaskovic is not 18 until the 24th of February. But I don't think we're going to loan this kid out because I think he's that good. I think he's that good, right? But that's only my opinion. What do I know, right? I think they'll wait till he's 18 because then you can fill out all the proper paperwork, because you can't, because for legal reasons here, employing people at that age, right? So
I don't know. Dealing is not a problem. Just with a bit of dodgy dealing here and there. Bring back Paratici. Just bring back Paratici.
Or Harry. Bring back Harry.
Bring them both back.
You know what? I would happily bring back Harry and Paratici. I want it. That was.
Paratici's still working for the club behind the scenes.
I hope he is, because Johan Lang. If I had the choice of who I would sack first, the first person I would sack is Johan Lang. I think he's dreadful.
Adrian, if you haven't got it, I'm going to cover it on my show on Sunday night. The list of players that we signed under Paratici and the players we've signed subsequently under Lang. Do you have that? Because if you don't,
I've got the list right here.
Right. Oh, pity, because I was
okay. We'll save it for Ian, Shaw. I don't want to steal his thunder. Right?
Message it to me, because do you want to come on Sunday? Because I think
I can't Sunday, unfortunately, Ian. I can't.
Okay.
I'll see what.
Let me have that list.
I'll get my people to speak with your people, Ian.
You're not part of our people anyway, Ben. Because you're the mod father. Right, Ian, staying with you.
Brilliant, Ben.
Ian. Your take on Dragerson. Mixed with a lot of people, I think, but more positive than negative, I think, with him. What's your take on Dragerson, Ian?
Oh, mine. Sorry. I think what I said before. I think he's a rock solid, old-fashioned centre half. Thanks, Ben. It's just come through. It flashed through on my phone. Rock solid centre half. Good old-fashioned stopper in the 1960s, 70s mould. Playing in a modern system where he requires to be able to pass the ball, be nimble. Don't think so, and it goes back to the recruitment we were talking about. Was it Ben that said about him playing, in an Italian system? Is awful to get. Well, Nigel, I'll mention I host Sunday show. Sunday show's mine, so I'm going to bring this up because I think some really important things are coming up here, and whether it's down to Levy or whether it's down to Lange or whether it's philosophy or what. I like Dragerson, but he's not my kind of player, to be honest, and his distribution is shocking. He can't pass the football. He just can't pass the football.
Mark, your take on Dragerson?
Well, yeah, he is what he is, isn't he? I mean, for Romania, he looks fantastic when he's played in a proper system. Like what he, we're three at the back, Romania play, and he looks fantastic for them. Can you remember seeing him in the Euros? Was it?
Yeah.
He was one of their best players, but now we're playing like Ange's stupid system. And he's like left in the two. He's getting found out. I'm pretty sure we could get any manager that plays sensible football, and Dragerson would look half sensible.
There's a reason Bayern Munich wanted Dragerson as well.
Obviously. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I forgot all about that, Ben.
They don't sign many duds, but they did sign Eric Dyer. Which I don't know how, but I don't know why. They had an off day that day. They had no. Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer went
the best header of the ball at the club.
No, Eric Dyer went to Bayern Munich. I know exactly why. Because I watched some golf YouTube, and Harry Kane was on with Rick Shields, right? And Harry Kane was on about his golfing buddies at Bayern Munich, and there was two of them that played golf in the Bayern Munich team. One of them is Eric Dyer. So that's why Eric.
Harry, Eric, and Matt.
The fact that Eric Dyer. went to buy.
Let's forget about Eric Dyer.
Golf, right? I'm not having that, right?
Yeah, let's get rid of Eric Dyer.
My take on Dragusin.
Bit of golf is all right.
My take on Dragusin, as it is with Davis as well. I mean, like, Davis is mature and sensible, does the job. With Dragusin, there's a player in there, very good in the air. He's not slow. He's had to cover for Porro and race back quite a few times. I've seen him race back. His distribution is not great. All right, he hit a wonderful angle pass out to Decky when we scored against Man City away. But they're too far and in between passes, aren't they? I mean, there's a player there, but the problem I have with Davis and Dragusin and even VDV, and God help me for like dipping out VDV, who's a right fan's favourite, is they don't progress the ball. They cannot progress the ball the way Romero does it. Romero gets criticised at times for not moving the ball quickly. He's the best passer. He's the best header. He's the best on the ball. I reckon he could play as a number 6 personally. He's that good. He gets forward. He got 5 goals last season. Gets a lot of stick. I would criticise him this season for the fact that, like, he should marshal the back four as being the most experienced centre-back, right? And that hasn't happened. But that might not be part of what he is, you know. So then you have to get on without it. But at least now, what I expected yesterday, I expected Basuma, for Christ's sake, to come and take the ball off the back four and progress us upfield, because Romero can't do that job because he's not in the team, right? And if he does go, he's got 2 years of his contract after this season. So if you don't want to stay, sell him. No, sell him. Get rid. I've got no time for this.
You can't have someone who don't want to be there.
Exactly.
Just sell him. Just go. If he wants to go, you've got to sell him.
Although I believe Real Madrid want cheaper options, like talk of Porro. I mean, they're looking at Dalot and Trent because they're cheaper options. Like, if they haven't got the money, they're skint. They're one of the richest clubs, but they're so in debt, like Barcelona and Juventus and things like that. So with Dragusin,
Adrian, right, Ben, you got to jump, yeah?
Yeah, I've got to jump.
Ben, thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Ben.
Ben, I'll have you on.
Big up, sir.
Take care. Stuff, mate.
See you, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
I'll stick your link in the chat.
Yeah, so on Dragusin, he looks good. But then, see, when a player does well at this club, we all praise him up, and everything else is forgiven and all that. You know, he got sent off against Karabakh, right? He's positional play again, caught out, and he's not slow, so he shouldn't be caught out, right? And like, his passing at times, yesterday, it's panic passing, it's chip balls forward. This is when another team press you. This is what we try to do other teams. You try and force them to kick it long because it's percentage football and you'll have more back than they will and you'll win the ball and recycle and go again. And with Dragusin, good footballer. No, he is a good footballer, but he's young. He's developing. No,
Adrian, the reason why I think, I'll tell you what it is, right? When you watch them, because they're so high, we have to constantly defend with our running back towards our own goal. Yeah. And that's the hardest way to defend.
Yeah.
You are going to defend a running back towards your own goal is the hardest thing for a defender to do. No matter how fast you are, like Van der Ven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
you
with that,
can't
right?
defend like that for 90 minutes. You can't.
I agree with that. I see where you're coming from, your angle.
But, you know?
What playing a high line has done, and the only difference between this high line, we're playing 4 at the back and 3 at the back on the halfway line most of the time when we're pressing, to Poch is the fact, which Mark alludes to, is the fact that we do have, like, Porro inverts. I sort of half agree that Udogie inverts, half agree that he doesn't. Right?
No. What I've said, Adrian,
look
is
at
that also with the Poch system, we had monsters like Dembele and Wanyama sat there that would fill in when Walker and Rose did disappear at the other end of the pitch. Ange has none of this.
Yeah, but also, Mark, what I've said before is the fact that when you've got VDV and Romero playing together on the halfway line, right, they read the game so well. Well, Romero does. He's very good at reading the game. That, like, his yards, he doesn't have to have VDV's pace to spot danger and intercept. And because we're not playing a mid-block or a low block under Conte, those two defenders aren't picking up yellow cards. They're having to make so many tackles. I mean, Romero's got 1 yellow card this season in 13 games, right? Under Conte, he would have got more because we'd have been playing a mid or a low block. And
is this what we want, though? I'll tell you what, right? Now, I'm sure we're going to come on. Well, we are onto the game. We are onto the game, yeah. We are onto the game last night, right? This is what, right? Now, in my opinion, the whole of the game yesterday, we didn't win a single battle on the field. Bournemouth were stronger than us. They were quicker to the ball than us, right? Yeah. This is where, right, Romero, you say Romero's only got 1 yellow card as a good thing. I think that's a bad thing. I want players to get stuck in and win the ball.
So do I.
And if they pick up a booking, so be it.
Yeah, but there's not many matches for Argentina, Mark, but he can't get stuck in because he might get injured and not miss an Argentina game.
Yeah, that's some of it. Yeah. But to be honest, which battle between our players and Bournemouth's players did we win last night? None of them. Even Solanke was bullied by a 19-year-old who got man of the match, by the way.
He was brilliant, that kid.
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
He was brilliant.
What I'm saying is the only difference between Poch's system and this playing a high line and the press is the fact that, like, to me, Udogie inverts. And to me, now you can disagree with me on the it's a different Porro inverts, not Udogie. And Udogie last season, this season tends to play other way down the left-hand side, even find himself in a wing position, right? Rather than cutting in like Porro does and unleashes the shot, right? So that's a difference. But there isn't that much difference. But when you play a higher line, if you've got pace and you can read the game, then you're going to intercept, because when balls come forward, you're going to see them coming. You can get caught out down the flanks because the way the modern game is, everyone plays horseshoe football and they all play narrow. So there's always one side of the pitch, one wing, where there's about 5 yards of open space, the length of the pitch. It's just the way the modern game is. It's very robotic, in my opinion. Anyway.
Can I come in on Nita's point there, Adrian?
Yeah, go on, of course you can.
Nita, it's interesting. I don't know if you were on. I think you were. Perfect Match with Kate and Jimbo at lunchtime, where they did a poll about who people might want as the new manager. This is assuming, of course, that Ange gets punted, which he presumably will at some point. But what was interesting is there was no clear favourite. There was some money for Thomas Frank. That's where went. Some for the Bournemouth guy, and a couple of Potter as well, a little bit here and there. But 50% pretty well was saying somebody else. Now I don't know who that somebody else was. Presumably then it was anybody else. But I think what occurred to me with that is there's no clear outstanding candidate, and my worry is, with the way the job has been a revolving door, who the hell would want it? I mean, that would be my worry. I mean, my guess is that, I mean, although people rule out Ryan Mason, he's been headhunted a couple of times, so clearly some people think he's got something, is that somebody organising this team properly could get a lot more out of this squad of players than Ange is at the moment. I hate to say that because I love Ange, but I think that if we get Southgate as a audio, I've said on streams before, whether you were online at the time or not, the closest I want Southgate to our football club is the Tube Station. And if you don't know North London, have a look at it. That I do not want Gareth Southgate.
We're going to come to that, Ian. Right.
Okay. I'll shut up, Adrian.
No. You've got something to say. No.
You know what? I know what it's like when I'm hosting and people.
No. If you
places I want to go.
Finish what you got to say. Right. I'll come back to you anyway, as I cut you off rudely. Then, yeah.
Yes,
right.
Good. I don't mind.
No. Right. Sarr, a player I particularly love, actually. Your take on this guy? Your take on Sarr, Ian? Can you hear me?
Me? Sorry, I didn't hear you say Ian. 5 out of 10. I just think he's got. I have to say, at the end of last season, I was starting to wonder if he was going to develop. Then early part of this season, I'm thinking, yeah, he is. He's really getting there. Lacks consistency. Probably, if he had a couple of better players around him, I think we'd see more from him. I'm not sure what his best position is. Is he a natural holding 6? Not sure. Or an 8? Is he good enough creatively to be an 8 in a system that's relying on inverted fullbacks? Again, not sure. I don't think the system suits Sarr at all. But he's a good player. He's got a lot of ability. And he's still young and he's still learning. But I think he's one that's really struggling with the system and the lack of confidence around him.
Tom, discipline and composure. When we were away at Man City, the Sarr Basuma pivot worked well, didn't it?
Yeah. They always seem to play well together, don't they? When they first came into the team together, they had like a little bond, didn't they? They seem to work together. I like Sarr. I really do. Right. But at the moment he's very inconsistent, isn't he? He is inconsistent.
So, I'm going to come to this later because
might be a bit cruel, but at the moment,
I'm going to be cruel later.
Like a lot of them are. Mate, let's be fair. Most of it, they all are at the moment. They're all inconsistent.
Right. At the start of before even a ball was kicked this season, I said about Sutter, all he does is run about a lot. He runs about a lot and he don't do nothing. This year, you can see he's improved. He's still young. He's what was he, Adrian? 22. But he has picked up this year. He's brilliant
at recovering the ball.
Yeah. He's starting to show things. He's
Gray's good at that as well.
He's starting to show. Sarr now is starting to show things that you expect as he gets older. He's maturing as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, virtually Sarr, I would say, is one of the first names on the team sheet now.
Isn't Sarr the unsung hero that people don't notice? Because, my opinion only, right? I thought it was our best midfielder last season. I mean, he was by far the best. The others were out injured, suspended, and whatever. And to me, he might have looked a bit quiet in some games, but no one ever come back at him and said, "Oh, you made a mistake here. You did this or you did that or wrong or whatever." Ian, no.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just actually watching a bit of Burnley and Middlesbrough. Yeah, look, no, I agree. I think there's a player in Sarr, and I think I'd like to see him around with better players around him, in a system that would suit him. I think in a double pivot, you were talking about that. I mean, if you said to me, Sarr and Gray are going to be the double pivot in a 4-2-3-1 on Sunday against Chelsea, I would be absolutely delighted, because I think one could go, one could hold, both could hold, both could go. I think they would work really, really well together. They're both technically very good players. They're both very good passers of the ball. I'd like to see Sarr bit. Well, we're going to maybe come on to Basuma, who's another one that plays very hot and cold. I'd like to see Sarr alongside Gray, and if I saw Sarr and Gray alongside each other on Sunday, I'd be a happy man.
Mark, coming to you as you are the founding member of the Johnson Defence League.
I am. Yes, JDL.
Praise him up. Come on, let's hear it.
I can't last night, can I? Well, for a start, he was played out of position. That's the only excuse I make for him. Okay. He was played on the left, which is not his position. But let's be honest, did he actually do anything? I didn't even realise he was playing. I mean, it's one that, if Graham's still in the chat, it's a square peg for a round hole again. I don't actually remember him actually doing anything meaningful. But I could say that about most of the players last night, to be honest. But I can't defend him. He was awful last night, as were the rest of the team.
Tom, you a Johnson fan? 10 goals, top scorer in the league.
I'm not, to be fair.
Fair enough.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not his biggest fan, but there's a player there.
I got the powers to remove him from the studio.
Don't get me wrong. I can have. There's one thing I can have my mind changed on, and that's Brennan Johnson, because there is a player there.
Ian, Johnson.
There is.
Johnson's numbers are really interesting because he doesn't look like he does that much, but his goals and assists are, really good. What to me though was interesting was the last two games. We've had assist from Werner, goal by Johnson. So why doesn't he give that another go? Why doesn't he start with Werner? Because Werner, we know he can't hit a barn door from 2 feet, but we also know his pace on that left wing and his ability to tee up, Johnson has been really, really excellent. Did it against City, he did it against Fulham. That goal right in front of me, lovely ball in. Johnson, though, isn't a natural right winger, and I think this goes back to Mark's square pegs and round holes bit.
Yeah.
He's not a natural right winger. He certainly doesn't have the pace, certainly with the ball, to be a natural right winger in the Ange system that I anticipate. But his numbers are good, and
He's
let's be honest with you.
He is a good finisher.
As Jimmy Cyril, you might need to be my age to remember Jimmy Cyril. He was he used to play for Celtic, but he was the manager of Notts County. And he said, the team that scores the most goals wins. The rest is only gossip. And the bottom line is Johnson is scoring and making goals. So he's got to be there for me.
I can't understand why he didn't play Werner out on the left last night. That you just said.
No.
I said that at the beginning, Tom, didn't I? Werner on the left and Johnson on the right. Decky in the middle would have done for me.
I didn't make any sense. Didn't understand it at all.
And I don't often agree with Harry, but he's a second striker, really. I agree, but in this system, play him where he's gonna be made best use of, Harry.
Yeah.
We know in the modern game that it's overloads all over the pitch. Even when you're trying to play out from the back, it's overloads. Beat the opposing player, progress up the pitch, overloads in midfield, overloads in the final third, overloads down the end. I've really warmed to Johnson. What really struck me was like, under all the abuse he took on social media, when we was away at Coventry in that League Cup game, the composure for that finish.
Yeah.
I've seen him blast balls over the bar, and like I thought, oh shit, another Werner. You know what I mean? Like when he gets in front of go, the shutters come down, he's just a hit and hope merchant.
Can I just answer this a minute, Adrian? Johnson was a striker at Forest.
Yes, I know, an inside forward. He's also from midfield and right forward.
Yeah, and that position,
and out of his 10 goals, when you watch him, whether they're cup or not, a few of them have been really good, composed finishes. Now, people might sneer and say tap in at the far post, but it also takes intelligent awareness to be in a position to get the tap in anyway, to sense that it's coming. Good strikers have that sort of instinct, don't they, in the box, where to be. And I'm looking at this kid and I'm thinking, like, okay, you're 23 now. I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, like, I didn't want him at the club when he first came. I watched videos of loads of players when we linked. And he was one of them, don't do nothing for me. Now, and then Ainge kept picking him. And Ainge gave him his debut away to Arsenal. That's bold. And that 2-2, a game we should have won, actually. 2-2. And I'm thinking, that was a very brave decision. And, like, he had a couple of half chances in that game. And I thought, we've got another hit and miss merchant here. No, I think this could have a lot higher ceiling than I ever thought, and I have to sort of say, well, I was wrong about him. I hope I am. But
again, Adrian, he's another one, not being played in his correct position,
and not having ready as well, and not.
No.
We have 11 players in the squad we brought in that are under 23, and people think just because of last season that we got seasoned pros, and they forget that Udogie, VDV, Johnson, Mikey Moore, like these Gray, right? Bergvall, these are young kids that are still developing, Anyway, let's move on to this guy who, I've got to be honest, I didn't watch a lot of him last season. I watched loads of videos on Brazil Scout. I didn't. Tom, your take on Solanke?
I thought it was non-existent last night.
Yeah.
He was that young kid, that 19-year-old kid had him in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Had him in his pocket the whole game. But
Yeah.
he's the only striker we've got, so he's going to play every week. He gives everything. He works hard. He does everything you want him to do, except put that boy in that net, which is what we bought him for.
Yeah.
But like we said,
I think he's got 6 in 14 or something, all comps.
If we don't cross the ball into him, then he ain't gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On there, Ian. That's not the way Ange wants.
Why buy him then? When he went through the whole summer saying he was his main target, so then we're knocking balls through the middle to him.
I get the cross argument. Here and there with. I'll be honest with you. I think it's about 1 in 64 crosses in the box result in a goal. Right. I get that. With Ange, it's more about not ballooning the ball over the centre, whether it's a corner. It's more like no daisy cutters along the deck either.
Yeah.
It's more about a knee-height cross or a waist-height cross. They're very hard to defend against if you get them near enough right, whatever, you know.
You see them doing it in their training. When you watch their training videos, you hear Mason saying, get that ball across, get that ball across.
All right.
That's what they do in training. They're hitting them balls across that.
I mean, we had some poor crosses yesterday. Sarr, you doggy. I mean, they ballooned them. They went out of touch on the other side of the pitch. I mean, what's that all about? And they had time. They had time to put in better balls than that. And I just think like the rot had set in. You know, I mean, what I noticed more about yesterday, which I'll come on to with Basuma and Maddison in a minute, was just the lack of composure. The lack of composure, you know, when you need someone to put their foot on the ball. So Solanke, I like what I've seen. I want goal.
Last night, he wasn't in the game at all, was he? You know.
Ian, I'm biased now. I love this player. Coolest left. Come on.
He was awful last night. I mean, that was probably his worst game I've seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 4 out of 10, and I'm being generous. He played right, and he played left, and he played middle, and he was just poor all game. Maybe he's another one, like, you know, that's just been had too much football. Decky, look, if it were me, I'm going back to my 3-5-2. Decky's in the middle every time with maybe one pivot, the 2 fullbacks, 2 creative, Kulusevski in the middle. Really, really good player. Has been probably our best player and showing big leadership signs. A young man of only 23, but Jesus, he was as off it last night as anybody.
Tom, something, Kulu?
Yeah, I thought it was awful. I thought it probably was his worst game for Spurs since he's been at the club, to be fair. I heard the stat last night. How many times did he lose the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Earlier on, Mark.
It was 30-something.
30-odd times he lost the ball.
Right, Mark, to you. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Basuma, not good enough. Drop and sell.
We'd see Basuma, can you remember when he was at Brighton? And he used to run that midfield. He looked fantastic for him. And we got him for like dirt cheap as well, like 20-odd million we paid for him. And I thought, what a fantastic signing this is. But we signed him when Conte was here, and Conte obviously didn't like him. I mean, and then in the summer there's he's up for the Balloon d'Or, isn't he? This summer. He's just not really. He's not produced that form that he showed at Brighton. Because at Brighton he was fantastic, but I mean, he's got to show it this year, right? Or else I would sell him. But is it the system? Again, it comes back to the stupid system we play.
Same thing, isn't it? It coming back to that same thing.
It always comes back to the same thing. Ange don't play players where they should be played, and our system is a load of nonsense. So is it his fault or is it the manager? you know.
But he's playing where he is played, though. This is the difference. This is my argument.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
But it's not going to happen in the new year because we're going to need every player we've got, right? With the games coming up and everything else. But, like, I would sell him. He's not consistent enough. When they play well, oh, yeah, they're great, blah, blah, blah. But then he's not consistent enough. So he is not going to take us forward, in my opinion, right? So, like, honestly, it won't happen till the summer. I'd get rid of him. I really would get rid of him because he's not.
I agree. Yeah, he don't do enough for me either.
Doesn't do enough.
No,
not consistent enough.
I agree with you.
Ian, are you a
friendly? I mean, there's Tom's comment. One of the reasons I have Tom on the show a lot is he talks an awful lot of sense.
Yeah, he does. Tom does. Big up, Tom. Big up, Tom.
I can't argue with that, Tom. Can't blame the system. Basuma's struggling in a Conte system. That's the 5-3-2. And he's struggling in an Ang system 4-3-2.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to say it's the player, not the system. Sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Fair play.
Agree.
Here's another one, right? Same again. Tom, Maddison, not good enough. Drop and sell?
No, I'm keeping him, mate.
Okay. Why?
I'm keeping him. Because he's a brilliant footballer, mate.
I'm not denying that.
You know, he's got to play right. If we're going to keep saying the same word over and over again. The system. He needs to be playing in space behind the front two, front one, front two, front three, whatever, in and around the penalty area, so he can knock that ball through, have his shots, take his free kicks, getting free kicks, getting fouled on the edge of the area, like what Grealish does to get his free kicks that he doesn't do. That's why we ain't seen it. We've only seen it once because he's so far back. He ain't getting fouled at this end of the pitch. He's getting fouled on the halfway line. You want him getting fouled just outside the penalty area where he should be.
Yeah.
England, Ian, sorry, luxury player, England. What am I doing?
I think he's a luxury player, but I'm listening to what the boys say about trying him in a different system with players running off him ahead of him. I would probably like to have a look at that, but my view at the moment is he flatters to deceive far too often.
Did he flatter deceive against Man City? Did he do it on his own, or was it because he had players around him?
But you see, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Different system where Ange played a specific 4-2-3-1, and he was able to flourish in that and move and get beyond the lines.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm saying I'm not prepared to write him off. The Man City game. Funny how it seems like ancient history when it was only a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. But I wouldn't write him off either. But to me, he flatters to deceive far too often. But the Manchester City game showed that, you know, it's hardly rocket science to say there's a player there. We all know there's a player there.
Yeah.
Mark.
Well,
go on.
Nigel's saying at this rate we won't have any players left. If we're going to sell all of them. Right, now Maddison. Maddison, right?
Go on.
Maddison is, well, it's like everybody else has said. He comes back deep. He should be the number 10. Without having the wing backs getting in his way, if Maddison's got space, he will make things happen. Right, he will. But we've said it. It's the system that's letting him down with the wing backs getting it, you know, the whatever they are, the inverted fullbacks, like clogging up his space. Even Kulu ends up clogging up his space. You give Maddison time and space on the ball, he will pick them passes. He will pick them passes.
I'm seeing similar things when Maddison was at Leicester with Tielemans. Remember when Tielemans gave away the ball under Conte and we scored 2 late-minute goals?
Oh, terrible, that last one. Terrible.
Well scored, right? Now, in that, and then the following season, Leicester get relegated. And you had Tielemans, who everyone was raving to me, what a good player. Yeah, he's okay. Well, I don't think it's nothing special. And Maddison as well. And I'm looking at those two and I think, like, you two don't dig Leicester out of the hole. And I'm looking like Basuma, Maddison, similar thing. You're not digging Spurs out of the hole. You know, when things failed last season, we would throw a Højbjerg on or a Skip even or whatever, right? We haven't got that now, right? They are not going to dig us out of the hole. I think both of them are too lightweight when the going gets tough to contribute. I really do. And I'm not being funny. I would keep Maddison over Basuma if it come to that. Don't see us getting rid of either in January. Definitely not, because like our squad is stretched and we don't even know if we got incomings apart from the kids.
No, can I just shout out David Clark? He's the Maddison expert in the things. I believe he lives in Leicester.
Yeah, there is another guy as well. Wayne Holland, he's a Leicester fan.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it's David Clark though. I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty certain that he said when we bought Maddison, he said, "You wait, he'll be on fire for about 10 to 20 games, and then he'll get injured and he'll be rubbish."
He's got 5 goals and 3 assists. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But like on the ball when things are going, we're great when Basuma and Maddison are playing and we're flat track bullies. We're great. When things get difficult, they're crap. There's no composure there. There's no discipline there. I mean, no one even thinks or has got the football IQ to drop back a bit, the midfielders. To me, like I said earlier, Basuma should be picking the ball up off the back 4 because Romero's not there, right? VDV will probably develop that in his game, but even when he's playing alongside Romero, they all look to give the ball to Romero. Why? Because they know he's good on the ball, right? And he's very good on the ball, right? I know some fans don't like Romero. That's fair enough. That's their opinion. I'm different. He's our best defender by a country mile. But he's got Basuma and Maddison in front of him. And to me, I didn't like it last year when Maddison was coming back to the back 4 to pick the ball up. That's Basuma's job if he's in the team to do that. Neither of them are a 6. We don't play with a 6. But when we had pivot against Man City, it worked well because we held our discipline and our passing was on point. And that's why we thrashed them. We're capable of doing that. Are we capable of doing it all season with those 2 players? No. No. Not in a million years. We'll have good games and we'll have games when we're look, Ange's not a bad manager when you go away and spank Man United 3-0 away and Man City 4-0 away. Some fans might sneer and say, oh, yeah, they're poor sides or they're playing bad. It's always the same when we win a game against what we consider a good side. But then at home, we beat Villa 4-1, thrash Everton, thrash. That's not a fluke. That's not a fluke, that amount of games. All it shows is that the system works, but the system fails. But the problem is it hasn't worked enough. It hasn't worked enough.
Live update from David. Look, I live in Leicester and I've watched Maddison closely for 6 years. And he had the best DM in the Prem, in Ndidi.
Good point, Ndidi.
Great player.
He's
and two box-to-box midfielders. He gets kicked more times. I've noticed this. He gets more kicked. He gets kicked more times than any other Spurs player.
It's the same ankle. It's that same challenge on that ankle over.
Yeah, it is. It is.
At the beginning of the season, as soon as he's got the ball, you watch the first tackle and he's crack on his ankle. Crack.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, won't we? This is his 2nd season. We'll see at the end of the season. We'll judge him. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we could do with any of them, has.
Right, guys. And this is our biggest problem as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Insufficient quality squad depth, competition for places, right? But especially now, when we've got injuries, we should have ready-made, oven-ready replacements. We haven't got them. No. You had Mason King at Malachi Heidi on the bench the other day, right? With Reguilon even. And I was looking, when Reguilon was on the bench, I'm thinking, I hope it's not because you doggies carrying a knock that he's on the bench. I hope he's just on the bench to make the numbers up. That was my feelings, right? You know, we just haven't got, this squad is short, guys. It's short. Tom?
Yeah, it's seriously short, isn't it? I mean, when you looked at that bench last night, I think, did I say someone, they've only played like once, some of them have even played. I think 6 players played like one game between them, or 5 of them have only played one game between them, or something like that. You know, this is Tottenham we're talking about here. Do you know what I mean? It's. I don't want to get into the Daniel Levy.
We're going to come to Brian's comment later anyway. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, Brian,
one of the questions later, actually. It's one of the questions later.
Brian, if you would like to come on, just put yes or something in the chat. I can send you the link.
Are we doing online?
Ian, squad depth severely lacking.
I think on the one hand, on the one hand, what's going on at the moment is clearly showing it's lacking.
Be back in 2 minutes, yeah.
Okay. But on the other hand, how many clubs can cope with the kind of injuries, suspensions, and what have you that we've had to deal with? I mean, sometimes we need a reality check here. I mean, Ben was saying about Ben Davies before, but you know, in fairness, our reserve centre halves, Dragusin and Davis, are both international players. You know, there is a limit. Enjoy, Brian. See you Sunday.
Yeah, good time, Brian.
Is that there is genuinely a limit to how much squad depth you can have and expect players to be happy.
Exactly.
And it's actually, they've almost made it worse, because if they have plans for, I'm just talking about the defence at the moment, but if they have serious plans for Phillips and Vlasovic, who are both young men, but if they certainly, I know about the Croatian boy, less about Ashley Phillips, funnily enough. But if they think they are going to be really top players, then you do have to say there's no point in signing another couple of 25-year-olds. We've got 6-7 midfield players. Maybe people will say we've not got the right midfield players, which is a completely different problem to the ones to not having the numbers. We've got the numbers. It's perhaps what we haven't got is the right quality in the right areas. And we missed an opportunity in the summer, like Bergvall, like Gray, but there was a need to buy seriously experienced players that would come into the first team. I was a little bit, no, I was not. I was shocked that we didn't buy some quality players to supplement what we had. We did well last year, 5th last year. You don't kick on buying kids. You kick on buying.
What was I saying in the summer, Ian? What was I saying on the transfer shows in the summer?
Yeah.
I was saying all of this. Like, I had no problems with Bergvall and Gray coming in, but you've got to supplement that with experience.
Absolutely. No, I think we all said that.
We brought in one oven-ready player, and that was Solanke.
I made a really nice. Yeah.
Odebert was highly rated because he came for the PSG academy.
But he's 19.
Went to Burnley there, and like Vincent Kompany was raving about in Burnley before he got his new job at Bayern, right? We've yet to see that yet because he's injured, right? And this is the thing, you know, and like we are lacking. We are lacking squad depth, and it could kill us in this next month, you know.
Yeah.
Every game's a hard game. I don't get this like next 4 games, 5 games. It's okay, Tom. That's okay. All this talk about we get how many points we get in the next 4 or 5 games. I am with Ange on this. At least I haven't moaned about the situation he's in. He gets on with it, you know. So like I am with him on that. Now, right. We got a yellow card yesterday, Basuma. This is how we stand. Bentancur's on his ban. We don't know if he's going to get a few games lobbed off. I think he should.
Well, it'll soon be over if they don't sort it out.
Been heard, by the way, by now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they don't hurry up, his ban will be over, and then because he got 7 or 8, wasn't it?
Well, after the chocolate and the black American kid and the chocolate caricature, which Bernardo Silva got done for from Man City about Benjamin Mendy, right? And he got a 1-match ban and a £50,000 fine. It's not so long ago to say, you can't go back that far. We know all about political insensitivity these days in all areas of life, right? But I think when you compare, that was premeditated to bring them caricatures up, whereas like Bentancur's more a flippant remark. I'm not condoning what Bentancur said, but it pales in like if you just compare the two, there's just no comparison personally. But like, and we're really missing Bentancur, and I love the player, so I'm biased. I love the player. I really do love the player, right? But anyway, we won't go back there, right? So that's the yellow card watch. Basuma's got his 4th, I think. Mark, you said he might have 5 now.
Well, I'm sure I might have been dreaming.
Yeah, I heard someone say suspended for the weekend, but I don't think
it's
true.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I heard it on Prime yesterday that when someone got a card and they said that means he misses the Chelsea game the weekend.
It was Basuma.
It was Biss, was it?
Yeah.
And so maybe you've
I could be wrong
missed one out.
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I've not read it today, though. So
no,
maybe it's wrong.
Maybe they got it wrong on the TV.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Though.
Well, who knows?
I think you might be right. I think you're right, Adrian.
I mean, I'll try to. I mean, like, right.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, mate.
Now, let's get on to the juicy stuff. And game management substitutes.
No.
Son, Porro, Werner, Bergwell.
Awful.
Basuma Davies, off work, Basuma Davies, hamstring. Looks like Gray might have to play centre-back if Romero isn't fit.
I thought he was in goal. I thought he was in goal Sunday.
No, that's against Rangers, Mark.
All right.
It will be at that release rate, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Ian, it goes from bad to worse, mate, doesn't it?
I thank God I'm back in Scotland, because the thought I might turn up at the ground and someone says, Ian, you get your boots, you're playing, frightens the life out of me.
You might get the ref.
Yeah, I mean, it is a problem. I mean, I'm assuming that neither Romero or Van der Vaart are fit to play on Van der Ven, rather, even are fit to play on Sunday. Then Gray is going to be playing centre half, and that scares me. Not that he's a bad player there, but it's another square peg in a round hole, and against a quality informed side, it's just so. Ian and I are playing centre half. Ben, bring plenty of coffee, mate. Bring plenty of coffee.
Espresso.
Ben's quite tall. I'm quite small, so but I'm brave. So sorry, what was the original question?
Game management.
Game management.
Did he get the subs right?
I mean,
the game was a disaster, but did he get the subs right?
No, of course he didn't. And I don't understand. It's almost like he's obsessed with, I've got to change my midfield players. But I mean, there doesn't appear to be any joined up thinking with what he's trying to do. So, for example, the logic, to be honest with you, Johnson had done so little, like in the 10 or 15 minutes. I was assuming that Johnson had been taken off, and I was wondering who was playing wide right. And Johnson was there, and it was suddenly like we were playing 4-2-5, or I've probably got too many players there. But it was hard to imagine. Look, we all know you want to try and get a goal, but we had no more cohesion with the substitutions. I mean, he took off Sarr, he took off Basuma, he took off Maddison. Granted, none of them were setting the world on fire, but Gray had to go in at centre half, so he ended up with no natural midfield players. What's that? I love it. What shows that now?
I don't get paranoid about it. Carry on.
Is that him or me? Is that seriously? Is that I didn't have any rhyme nor reason to what he was trying to do, and I don't understand what he was trying to do. I like Bergvall, but Bergvall's another one that's not ready. You don't bring Bergvall on 1-0 down in the hope you're going to rescue the game. Bergvall isn't that player yet. He might be, but he ain't yet.
No.
And I just don't know that he knew what he was trying to achieve, other than I better change it because we're getting beat.
Yeah.
Tom,
Yeah.
on this?
Yeah, I agree. I exactly agree with what Ian just said there. We looked a little bit better, to be fair. In the first 10 minutes of the second half, we looked a little bit better.
But you'd expect that from a team that 1-0 down, they would come out.
Yeah, but the changes didn't make a single bit of difference. You can't keep changing your whole midfield every game. You can't keep doing that. You're changing your whole midfield. And it's crazy.
But,
You're looking for a goal.
At the same time, I mean, like, Ange's got 6-7 midfielders, including Decky, if Bentancur's included. So, like, you're looking at, like, 30 permutations of a 3 to play in midfield anyway. And you can't keep playing the same 3, can you? You can't do it.
Well, the most successful teams do. That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? All our alone change one. We seem to change every week 2. I don't. He doesn't know what his best 3 are. He
Good evening, Joe.
We don't know what our best 3 are, do we? Come on, let's be fair.
No. And what I always question with Ange is he doesn't make proactive subs. It's always reactive. He won't see something's going wrong and change it.
I would rephrase that to say that he doesn't always get it right. He has got it right in the past. He has got it right, and he has got it wrong.
No, but he won't do anything to affect the game, will he? All our subs, well, to be honest, a lot of it is to do with our squad because all our midfielders, more or less, are basically the same.
With all the same players, we ain't got no one who can change it. It's gonna be
exactly.
You're taking off, you're bringing the same kind of thing on.
Yeah, it is. And so whoever plays in the midfield, they all more or less do the same.
And that's why you can't get rid of Madison because he's the only 10 there is.
He's the only. Yeah.
Can I put something in here? This might be absolutely brilliant or total bollocks. One thing I've heard is that Edsy is coming in January. I don't know how good my source is, other than it's a really good friend of mine who does know a few people around. And I just want to put that in because I just need some optimism.
We could have done with him in the summer.
So I just need something. No, in January. He's coming.
Okay, let's just analyse that for a second, right?
We needed him in the bloody summer.
Hold on. Do we need Eze more than we need a left back?
No. In my opinion.
I mean, I wanted Eze and a left back in the last window, right?
Yeah, I think
we didn't get the left back. We didn't get Eze, right? It's a question of priorities. Eze, you'd virtually class him as the marquee signing, wouldn't you? But I just don't see it happening. I don't see that happening.
I don't either.
I haven't heard no rumours about it or seen anything that like make me think like he'd come in. Would I take him? Yeah. I would. Yeah. But is he a number one priority? For me, no. We need a left back.
But you're going to have to pay for him 80 million?
Not now, because I don't know what his contract situation is, Tom. I don't know. And getting someone in January, look, when teams... This is the thing about January. We've done well in January transfer window, apart from Dan Juma. I mean, like we got Dele in, we got Lucas Moura in, we got Bentancur in, we got Decky in, we got Porro in. I mean, like we've done pretty well, but the most we've got in is 2. And Eze in January, nah. Palace. They're down the bottom. They're not going to release. If you're involved in relegation or if you're in Europe and you're going strong in a competition or you got the chance of doing well in the league or gaining a European place, you're not selling a player unless you've probably got 3 in that position and you can afford to let one go. I just don't think it's happening. Or unless you offer an extortionate amount of money. And Levy's not going to do that, right? So, I hope the rumour's true. I really do. I
think we all do.
Mm-hmm. We could have done with him in the summer, to be honest.
Let's move on to something even more controversial, right?
Yeah.
Would the juice from the lemon be worth the squeeze if Levy were to sack Ange? Tom, where would we be? Would we be binning a season, for example? Would we be giving up cups? It'd be all depending if, like, when would the trigger be pulled? I mean, like, do we know?
I'm thinking right now. Is our season going to go to pot, or is it? Do we get rid of him and save it? Because I don't think we're going to get nowhere.
Fine. What, in the league?
Anywhere. I think we're going to get. I don't think we're even going to qualify for that Europa League. The way we're playing at the moment.
I think we'll definitely qualify for the Europa League.
No, I don't think it's nailed on, because just the way the players are playing and their attitude.
My reason is based on the fact that, like, it goes to 16 teams. You're then in the playoffs. So if you don't make the top 8, you go in the playoffs. And, like, we're going to worst ways. I mean, it goes to that. Worst ways, we're there. And our last game is against Elfsborg on the 30th of January, right? Which will coincide with the end of the transfer window, and also coincide where we have to re-announce our Europa League squad as well, right? And our Premier League squad as well. So
I'm seeing people, our fans, saying we're going to go up to Rangers and beat them easily. No, mate, we ain't.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Put it this way, right?
They're going to do everything they can to stop Ange Postecoglou. Because he's Celtic.
Well, we've got Chelsea to play. You've got Rangers on the. We've got Man United, Rangers to play Thursday, right, away, and then we're coming up to, after that, you've got Man United in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals as well. So they're big games. Funny thing, Ian, and remember, like I do, when this club's been in crisis in the past. I mean, back in the day when you had a 40-man squad and whatever, and you played youngsters, Spurs were fine for playing weak teams, right? Because we had FA Cup games coming up, which actually we went on and won them FA Cup games. So and we end up winning the cups. So so stuff the fines for the FA.
I would love to win that Europa League. You know, I'd love to win.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's the one I want. That's the
one. Right. No. Right.
Picture up on the wall there with Steve Archibald with it in his hand.
Yeah. I mean, something Dan's saying. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Rangers were in such a mess. We just beaten City, and you think, we will go there and we will
wipe the floor with them.
We will show them. We will just play them off the park. Since then, we've drawn with Roma, and
drawn with Fulham, lost to Bournemouth.
Drawn with Fulham,
lost to Ipswich.
No, Ipswich was before. In all fairness,
was it?
Yeah, but we've drawn with Roma. We've drawn with we lost to Bournemouth and we drew with Fulham. They beat Nantes by no, it wasn't Nantes, was it? It was Nice. Beat Nice 4-1, and they beat Killy in the week 6-0. So they're suddenly hitting some really good form, and we've hit some really bad form. 50,000 in the ground, ex-Celtic manager.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bloody hard at Rangers. It's
Galatasaray Mark II, Ian, yeah?
It's what, sorry?
Galatasaray Mark II.
Galatasaray are probably technically a far better team than Rangers, but there'll be
the crowd,
the crowd will be just as hostile.
Passion-wise, Rangers all over us, player quality, we are better. Yeah, I agree with that, Dan. I absolutely agree with that. But I mean, if our players would get the bloody foot on the ball and go and play, they'll play Rangers off the park. Absolutely play Rangers off the park. But I just worry. I'm worried about that game. I wasn't, and I haven't got a ticket yet. So anyone hears of any tickets for the game at Ibrox, I'm only around the corner, up and go. But haven't got a sniffer of a ticket yet. I'm really worried about that game. And then, because this is the point, isn't it? If we lose on Sunday, if we lose on Thursday to Rangers, and then lose the following Thursday to Manchester United, I think game's up for Ange. I really do.
Right, no, right. I'll have my take on Ange now. Right. You saw after the game, I put the comments in the admins group, WhatsApp, right? Ange went to the fans. Right, now these fans, there wasn't a train home from Bournemouth, so they either had to drive or find their own way home somehow, right? Because of the corrupt way that the leagues run, and they don't think of fans whatsoever, right? Right, he went to the fans. They were all swearing at him and all that. We've all seen all the clips, right? And he had a go at him, right? And then the Leave You Out song started. Now, this was only, I don't know how many away tickets there is at Bournemouth. We want Leave You Out, right? Now, we witnessed this with Nuno. If we get gubbed on Sunday against Chelsea, that I'm doing a watch along for, it might turn into a hate along, right? But I'm doing, right? If we get gubbed at home versus Chelsea, I can see that stadium, all the Leave You Out songs will start, and you know what the man's like? He will pull the plug. He's already like ready to, right? Yeah.
I wonder though, Mark. I hear you, and we've seen it before, but I wonder if the fans are a little bit wiser now that people are starting to see the common denominator.
Well, it is the common denominator, but unfortunately, Ian, it's the manager that always gets it.
I get that, but I wonder, fool me once, fool me twice, and all that. I just genuinely wonder if for Levy, just getting rid of the manager is that simple. There's another aspect to this. Who in their right mind now would want the job? Seriously, who in their right mind would want the job? I mean, it's all very well saying Thomas Frank or something, or Gareth Southgate, when you think I might get a year and a half and I just ruined my reputation as a manager. What manager has left this club, maybe Pochettino, but with their reputation enhanced? Who's left this club with their reputation enhanced? That's a really bad situation. Really bad situation. And I genuinely think that when people start saying Levy out, if this month goes badly, we've hit bad form at exactly the wrong time. But seriously, if we get to a point now where the fans are screaming Levy out, that it might be that people genuinely want Levy out. I'm at a point now where things have got so bad, so desperate, that it's not anybody but Levy. I know that I've had this discussion with Brian and with Ben and what have you, but I think we're at a point where we really need to try this business model with new owners, because we can't keep failing like this. And to some extent, I think we've been duped as well with a new stadium, because although we've spent money, we've not been investing the kind of money in the kind. Would we go out and spend? I mean, and the perfect example for this is what the mob along the road did. Would we go out and spend 100 million on a Declan Rice? And nobody's going to tell me that we don't. That if we had Declan Rice playing, we wouldn't be a vastly superior side with that holding quality player.
Yeah.
Nobody in the chat could say we wouldn't be a much better side with Declan Rice, but you had to go out and spend 100 million. Would we go out and spend 100 million on a kind of player that would change it? I don't think we will.
If I can add to this, Ian, right, hang on a minute. If I can add to this, right, I've been saying it for ages on this channel. As far as the new stadium goes, we were sold a lie. Right, we were told this new stadium, all shiny, singing, right, was going to take us to the next level to be able to compete with the Man Cities, the Chelseas, right? What have we done? We've turned this £1 billion stadium into an under-21 ground, because all we're doing at the moment is buying kids and hoping that they'll come good in the future.
Mark, Jose's offering you the job, mate. He wants to make sure you've got your phone.
Mark, no. I know exactly what he wants. He wants he wants me to promote his channel.
Oh, that's fair, dues.
Yeah. Oh, send me the link. Oh no. Okay, Jose, I'll do that for you, mate.
Jose.
You know why we brought all the youngsters in? It was to bring the wage bill down. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's all to bring the wage bill down for this portfolio they've got.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Tom, do you actually think that, like, if you're going to sack the manager, right, that's fine. If fans have, they've had enough. I'm not on that panel. I'm edging to the end of the season because I think, like, whatever happens, we have to see this through. I mean, like, whether it's with young players or not. And I'm not happy about a lot of things at the club. But if you sack the manager, if you did it tomorrow, you're binning the season, aren't you? You're just binning the season. There's 3 cups. I mean, where does that decision come? I don't think it comes in league position, personally. I
think he's done.
Fair enough. So, like, Europa League gets you Champions League. No, that's fair enough. I respect your opinion. Like, we're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. We're playing Tamworth on the Sunday the 11th. Now it's a televised game in January. Do you think Levy would pull the trigger?
Well, there's the other side of the coin.
The last game in the Europa League is actually the 30th of January against Elfsberg. And I still think we're going to be in that competition anyway. Even if we were to screw up, which we won't, I don't think with the 3 teams we've got left, right? I don't think we will. Doesn't mean to say I'm right? But what I'm saying is, like, we're going to be in these cup competitions. I've seen Spurs before. When there's a smell of a little bit of silver, we have, and Ian will remember this, we have dropped down the league and gone on and won a trophy.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that, Adrian. I remember that just about.
I don't see it happening because, like, until the end of January, like, when we know that, I mean, look, if we can't beat Tamworth, we're already through at the next round anyway. So
I don't know. Don't say that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like, Arsenal went through a similar situation with Arteta, didn't they? I mean, I understand the fans' frustrations. Me and Ian have been lucky enough to experience Spurs win quite a few trophies, so I get that, right? But, like, I just don't see.
The difference is, Adrian,
it's not just that. It's not a question of the manager. It's a question Levy has to look for, not so much his own survival, because he can dig in like Ashley did at Newcastle, right? No matter what they did, he still stayed in position until he wanted to sell the club, right? And he didn't do it until then. And Levy's in a position where he can barricade himself, right? And perhaps not go to games like Ashley if it got really toxic, but he's still got a 29.7% of ENIC or whatever it is, right? And there's nothing we can really do, right? There's nothing really. We can complain, we can make it uncomfortable. I give the protest movement their due. Like I say, I stood on 2 of them. I mean, he was made very uncomfortable with the black balloons when he's singing them out, and he's touching his leg. That was successful. To me, that was successful. What about numbers? And it got attention in the media and all that. And all that I thought was good, because to me, my issue is the culture of the club and the lack of empathy with the fan base. That's my biggest gripe with this whole situation with the board and all that.
Yeah.
But I just don't see him sacking the manager, because I think if he sacks the manager, all guns point at him. Who you replace?
He's going to make himself look an idiot.
Ryan Mason, unless you can bring in a Harry Redknapp and Glenn Hoddle or something like that, you know?
He's going to make himself look an idiot, after what he come out with, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? We've got our Tottenham back and all that and blah, blah, blah. He's that type of bloke, isn't he? He's an ego.
And that's absolute rubbish. We got
all that crap. You know what I mean? He already said, didn't he? He made a mistake. Is he going to say it twice? I don't think so. He ain't going to say it twice, is he?
No.
He don't give a shit what we think. He's got skin thicker than a rhinoceros.
What's your take on the end situation, Jose? Do you think the board would sack him or not? Nice, easy question for when.
So I've heard what you guys have said, right? The proof's in the pudding. The evidence is there of what's happened in the past. It's rinse, repeat, it's tried and tested. I'd like to think that he probably gets, if the game against Man United goes awry, and we go out the Carabao Cup, because I think in Europe we're going to qualify. Whether we don't get top 8, we'll qualify because you've got to come in the top 24, and we got enough points to get into the top 24. So if the Man United game goes awry and we get knocked out of the cup, and we have poor performances leading up to that as well, Chelsea, Rangers, whoever we got the week after, Southampton, whoever it is the week after, and then Man United, I think the board have got a decision to make. And knowing him, if he sacked Jose Mourinho 6 days before a cup final, we're talking about a Carabao Cup quarter-final. This isn't. We're not playing for the final.
Good point, Jose. It's a good point.
So this is a lot earlier in the piece than when he sacked Mourinho, right? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's either things need to have changed, mentality and thoughts at the board need to have changed in order for them not to go down the rinse and repeat route. So if they've given, I said this before, if you interview someone for a position in normal working life, if you've been interviewed, you meet your prospective employers, you know what the job description is, you know what the bits and pieces you got to do. Then when you're being interviewed, if you align with the people that are interviewing you, and then you agree to take that position based on what your employer said, then you take the job. Now, if they've given a 4-year contract out to Postecoglou, which is what they did, and they've got a plan that they want to do X, Y, and Z within them 4 years, you'd like to think, well, for me, I mean, we're playing badly at the moment, and I'm not going to get away from it, but we're playing badly. But I've been a supporter long enough to have seen worse football than what I'm seeing now, and worse results than what I'm seeing now. And it's life of a Tottenham fan. You ride up and down, and I have done all my life, even before Enoch came along. We'd won trophies, yeah, but there were some seasons we sucked eggs, big time.
Can I just say, Jose, there's a lot of managers that have been sacked for a lot less than Ange's form.
I agree.
A lot less.
I agree. And what I'm saying is the evidence is there to say that there's a rinse repeat cycle there already in place. Yeah. And I was hoping before, when Ange got given a 4-year contract, my hopes were that they'd had an agreement between them when he was interviewed and that they had they had a path, they had a timeline to do X amount of stuff and that, and they were going to do A, B, C, and D, and they plot timelines and what they're going to do it, and you keep measuring as you're going along. And the only problem that we've got as supporters is we don't know what that agreement is. So on the outside looking in, we're all going absolutely ballistic. Part of the fan base is going ballistic, and to me, in all honesty, if I'm going to be really, really brutally honest to myself, right? I heard what you guys.
I was going to say the only thing.
Sorry. I heard what you guys were talking about earlier.
So you froze a bit.
Did I?
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I heard you guys turn around earlier and say about Eze coming in the winter and stuff like that. Listen, let me tell you something now. Eze ain't coming to Tottenham in the winter, and he ain't coming in the summer, right? No player that commands a salary of over 100 grand is coming or signing for Tottenham. Tottenham every year it's been about reducing, and if you're talking about squeezing that lemon dry, the board are doing that now. I think we've got about 4 players left that are on over 100 grand a week, right? And the players might get to 100 grand a week, but they got to earn that contract. But their first contract won't be 100; it'll be less. Now that's what they're doing this season. They will continue to do that next season. Now, a manager coming in, if they know that this is the plan and this is what they're going to do, and they take the job because of that, then that's their lookout. They've taken the job because of that. Has Ange been backed?
No.
I would turn around and say, like I keep saying to people, Ange says that he okays the buy, but if you offered someone, and I keep saying Wilson Odobert, let's say they got offered Wilson Odobert, he got offered Pedro Neto, and he got offered, I don't know, some other person as well, right? Well, and Ange said, well, I want Neto. Langer turns around and Munn turns around and says, well, we can't give you him. He might fit your profile and that, but we can't give you him because we're not going to pay, one, we're not going to pay his fee, and two, we ain't paying his wages. So therefore, although he might fit the criteria that Ange said, when you look out for the player, for the skill sets, he's completely scrubbed off the list. Neto doesn't count now. So now you're left with, these are the players you're left with, Ange. Out of these players that you're left with, who do you want? So Ange says, I'll have Wilson Odobert then, right? And then that's when Ange, I think that's the meaning when Ange says, I wanted the player. Because Ange gets the final say on who he gets, but it's who he gets offered.
Yeah. This is where we were sold.
I agree with you. I agree. Completely agree.
Jose, this is where we were sold a lie with the new stadium. The new stadium was meant to take us to the next level, so we could go out and get people on £200,000-300,000 a week.
But in all honesty as well, though,
it's Mark, a lie. It was a lie.
Yeah, that's not been a whole truth. But in all honesty, right, all I say to people is, and I've supported the club for years, if you go back to when Levy first came in and you look at his first statement, right?
I'm here to make money.
That's exactly what he said. Mm-hmm. He said that. And people, Tottenham supporters at the time, I mean, I was a lot younger then, but Tottenham supporters at the time jumped at the charts because of the infighting that we had leading up to our sale. We had all the stuff with Scholar, then we had all the stuff with Sugar. Yeah. And with all the infighting that was going on, we had someone that was taking over our club, and we were like, I think we bypassed what he said in his statement to start off with, because we just wanted civil war to stop at Tottenham. That's what we wanted.
Tom didn't.
I was there. I was at the Scottish protest after a Forest game. I've
only been to 2 protests.
We stayed in a Paxton for about a couple of hours after the game. They couldn't get us out. I was only young. I would have been 90, so I was in my early 20s.
Yeah. So do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if we think about it, people are really pissed off with Levy now, but he turned around and I keep saying, because of all the civil unrest that was going on with all the other ownerships and everything that was going on at the time for a number of years at Tottenham, when someone said that they're going to come along and purchase the club, I think we just dismissed what his initial statement was, and we just thought, yeah, we've got a new owner now. Happy days, we'll move on from there. Mm-hmm. And it just hasn't materialised.
Well, no. Alan Sugar said it himself. He said, I've done what the fans wanted me to do. I've sold the club, but they're not going to like who I sold them to.
Well, on the transfer situation, guys, because we had a lot of talk about this, and I've been to Transfer Market Co, where they give valuations of players which never turn out to what they're sold for. It's either more or less. Now, in the 23-24 season, we spent 272.10 million in sales, right? Right. The net spend was 151.4 million. Now, in this season, it's not over yet, right? We've spent 93.5 mil. We don't know what we're going to do, if anything, in January. But on that basis, our net spend has been, over the 2 seasons so far, 244.95 mil. Now, to put that into perspective, right, since the stadium opened in 2019, according to who you believe, we spent 600 or to 685 mil. Now, get this, on 29 players, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a joke, right? It's an absolute joke, right?
That's crazy.
Now, so that is either, if you take it over 5 years, it's £120 million a year, right? Or it could be up to 137 million. But if you look at this net spend figure here, over 2 seasons so far, the 120 million figure looks about true, because it, like, if you double it, 120 times 2 is 240, which makes me worry about whether we'll do much business in January, perhaps get a signing in. I hope it's a left back. That's the more urgent position to me. If Vuskovic and Ashley Phillips are going to be given a go in the new year. We spend money, guys. I will hands up and say
that's never been our argument. Adrian,
we have failed better.
Levy ain't all about we don't spend no money. It's about the way we've done it.
Is,
you just said
we have failed better in recent transfer markets. I believe the technicality of the squad has improved, but it hasn't got anywhere.
Where?
I mean, we've spent money. I think we spent it better recently, but we're still recovering for lack of investment from when Poch was in charge, when we went 518 days without even bringing a player in, and we're carrying that cross to this day because this squad is not up to it as far as I'm concerned. It's not.
No, they're not.
And so we haven't improved that.
You can improve the squad in players, but if you've got lack of depth and lack of quality depth, that's a different thing.
I will say, Adrian, right? I hear what you just say about we've spent all the money and all this.
We've had 40 odd in the channel all evening. Thank you. Thanks for watching us, listening to us, whatever.
Yeah. Right. Well, anyway.
Subscribe to the channel, yeah?
Yeah. Right. What I was saying, yes, we have spent the money, but this 600 million you said is on 29 players. The average is out roughly 20 million a player. Right? No, I'm just coming to this. Right? Arsenal, I hate saying their name, right? They wanted a number 6, so they went out and got the best. Declan Rice, 100 million. Would you honestly see us paying 100 million for a player?
No.
You look at what we done with the Gareth Bale money. We got a world record fee for Gareth Bale at the time, and we basically pissed it down the drain with 7 players at 15 million a pop average.
Scattergun transfer.
Yeah. It was 7 players who the only good one out of them was Ericsson.
Yeah, we sold it and bought the Beatles, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. You know, it's just ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, there is no way on this planet Daniel Levy is signing a check for £100 million to go and get what this stadium was promised it would do to get the top players. Instead of spending like this 120 million that you reckon we've averaged, right, on 2 players that instantly walk into our team, right, instantly make us a better team. We will get 5 or 6 that might be good in the future. It's just living on hopes and dreams and praying that they all turn good. And it is, to be honest, we're always considered one of the big boys, but it's about fucking time we started acting like it.
I agree. No arguments here. I mean,
no.
We should have. I mean, I've said it even when Brennan Johnson come in. Now I like the kid. Now what I've seen, not oven ready, right? We've got players in this team that are developing. You Doggy's developing. We know he's a talent. VDV. Everybody thinks he's a season pro. What, 1 season? No, you're not, right? I mean, and you know, Sarr, right? I think he's fantastic. Actually, I really do. I think people really need to have a good look at this kid because I think he's fantastic. You know, and like we've got young players in the team, in the squad, and we've brought younger players in on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be
it's a mess.
Policy. Yeah, it is, and it's the way that Levy wants to go, right?
Yeah. Chaos.
Or the board wants to go, right? Now the problem they've put themselves in, they've let us stagnate so much that to correct this situation, they're hoping youth is going to save the day, and you know that by pure chance we might get success. They did it with Poch. They squeezed the life out of Poch. All the fan base wanted rid of him. He got us to the Champions League final, which Levy must have loved, got the cash tills clinking away and all that.
That's all he's interested in. That's all he's interested in, Adrian.
Yeah, I can well believe that. He might be a Spurs fan, but he isn't a Spurs fan like us with a passion and a DNA. No. I mean, I've been with this club 6 decades. You know?
Where I'm gutted is when Paratici got caught for what he did, because Paratici became a contractor for us, and soon as Langer came in, Langer is a full-time paid employee for Tottenham, and I knew that Langer and Paratici wouldn't work because you got one a paid member of staff and one's a contractor. So you're always going to side with the paid member of staff.
Yep.
Now, with Paratici, I felt that the players that we got under Paratici were better quality for me and more oven ready for me than the players that Langer has brought in.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say to people is there is no coincidence, right, that Aston Villa were happy to let Langer go. They didn't put up resistance. They didn't put up a fight. And Langer's come, and I'll be honest with everyone, I'm so underwhelmed with Langer and his signings, and I'm so underwhelmed when I've seen Langer be interviewed on this. To me, he's a puppet and he talks nothing but shit because it doesn't make sense what he's saying. And
Jose, what are Langer's signings? Bergvall's one. I know that.
Archie Gray, Odebert,
kids.
Right. Werner is a Langer signing.
Who bought Phillips?
Sorry?
Ashley Phillips.
Did he bring Ashley Phillips, or was Ashley Phillips before?
Was that
Paratici?
That was Paratici. I think he came in before that.
Got him off Blackburn, yeah.
I think the last player, one of the last. I think Pedro Porro was probably one of the last players bought in under Paratici. So anything after that, unless we had irons in the fire through Paratici, soon as Langer's come in, I've seen a drop off. But you know, at the end of the day, if Paratici was still allowed to operate with us, because I don't think, I mean, some of you guys go to the stadium. Have you seen Paratici there at all? Because I haven't seen him in and around Tottenham for a long time now.
No, so he's still got consultancy. He's still
he used to be in and around the ground. You used to see him near the benches and stuff like that. You used to see him about. Now I don't see him, and I haven't seen him for a long, long time. Paratici.
His ban must be up or shortly up anyway.
Well, no, he got 30 months, didn't he? So his ban won't be up yet. But for me, I wish his ban was up, and I'd wish that we could bring him back and fuck Langer right off, because he is a fucking mug punter and ain't got a clue about player ID. He's really shit, and that's why Villa just let him go. He was stealing a living at Villa, and he's stealing a living at Tottenham. And you know, at the end of the day, if you have to keep looking at a machine all the time,
I don't know nothing about his history or his history at Villa.
If you have to keep looking at a machine all the time to tell you how good a footballer is, then mate, please, it's quite simple. If you want to know what a footballer's like, go and watch him with your fucking eyes. Don't just rely on something what a machine tells you.
They try to con us, haven't they, into this way of thinking that we're doing the same thing as Brighton. This data-driven recruitment, they've used that as like a cover, because that's what, you know, it didn't work bringing in Mourinho and Conte, because they want the 200 million pound players with 350,000 pound a week. They can't do that, so they're going to go by the data. And a lot of our fans agreed with it. They was quite happy with that, with the way they put it. But they haven't done that. They just used it as a disguise to reduce the wage bill and the PSR as well. They used it as a way of doing things that they want rather than what we want.
Put it this way, Tom. Put it this way, Tom.
And a lot of us fell for it.
Go on, Mark.
Tom. Well, put it this way, right? Brighton have got an iPad to do their data-driven stuff. We've probably got a ZX81.
Pen and paper.
Yeah, if you remember them, or a Commodore 64,
I had one.
or a Commodore 64.
I mean, okay, we can sneer at that, right?
No, but it's the truth, Adrian. It's the truth.
No, it isn't the truth, Mark. It isn't the truth, right? The data analysis is not just done like that. I like the fact the old days when scouts and managers had time to go and watch players and things like that. That doesn't happen nowadays, right? There are companies out there. When you're involved with agencies, this is why I don't like prats like that Florin Maria, who's Dragason's agent, right? Mouthing off. When you get agencies have to act with a bit of respect for football clubs they deal with. They don't mouth off like that because it's bad for business, right? You've got agencies and companies out there that do the data analysis for you. So when you go to them, you pay a fee to use their services, but you get all aspects of the player. You might not get his psychological profile, which I think we should do more on players, you know, and investigate like whether they've got, the right mental attitude, blah, 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 things like that. That's different.
David Pleach recently come out and said, didn't he, that they don't like using their eyes. They don't want to use their eyes.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Tom. I agree with that.
He come out and said it, didn't he?
This is the perfect analogy. We've still got Sugar's Amstrad. Yeah. Instead of the top computer.
I mean,
Tom, I'm gathering. Sorry, can I just start? Tom, I'm gathering you're still a season ticket holder, ain't you?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm not had a season ticket for years now.
Okay.
I've not been over there for 11 years, mate.
Okay, so Adrian's got a season ticket, right? Because I heard what you. I've been playing football tonight, so I only just got back in and started listening to the show.
I
heard you guys talking about the Levy stuff, right? So, if I'm led to believe that as soon as the fireworks start for Levy, then he's just going to turn the sound up and drown the noise out.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then sack Ange, and then sack Ange.
So where do we? So where do we go from there? I think it's quite clear. Not everything's right at Tottenham, and it hasn't been for a long, long time. It's not just now. It's been for a while. And
since Levy got it.
And at the end of the day, right? If the person that's going to get and carry a lot of the blame and shoulder a lot of the blame is going to be the manager. It ain't going to be the players, and it ain't going to be the board. It will be the manager.
Yeah.
Whether the manager did X, Y, or Z, it don't really matter because we've seen it in the past. Pochettino got us close in the sense that we finished second, we finished third, we got to a Champions League final, and he was sacked. Right? Mourinho got us to a cup final and was sacked before the cup final. Conte got us into fourth, which he done well for that first half of the season. But regardless of that, the following season got sacked. The list goes on. Nuno was brought in because he was going to play. He was going to have the Tottenham identity, play the attacking football. It's taken us 2 and a bit months to find a manager. And the person we've got for you is Nuno Espirito Santo. So, and at the end of the day, he got sacked. So it doesn't matter who you got. The managers come and the managers go.
Yeah.
The managers, whether they've done well or badly, they're going to carry the can for this. Yeah. And he is still going to continue because, there's no damage and challenge. Now, I know that a lot of people say that we need to do something about it and stuff like that. But what I find is that you've got 62,000 people in the stadium. You've probably got another 40 to 50,000 on the waiting list or whatever for season tickets.
More.
Okay, more, right? Then you've also got the people aside from that go onto the ticket exchanges to buy tickets when they put on there. Then you've got to look at the fan base, the ones that come and the visiting fans. Tottenham's fan base worldwide has got to be, I don't know, Adrian, you might know the actual number.
34 million.
Okay, I was going to say 20 to 30 million at least. Right. So 200 people out of 34 million ain't going to make a dent in Levy.
No.
You need something. You need a movement so big. And what you need, I mean, at the stadium itself, if you had the whole 62,000 people doing something together in unison, then that's a statement. And then that'll put the frighteners on you. You won't just be rubbing your leg. You'll be shaking uncontrollably.
But it's not the demographics of the 34 million that are all over the planet. It's the demographics of those that come to, if you're in a protest, it's the demographics of those that can turn up at the stadium and protest.
I was talking to this.
The problem with that is with the stadium, what you've got when it comes to home games is you've got 42,000 season ticket holders, 8,000 corporate, which is 50,000, 3,000 away fans, which is 53,000. That leaves you 9,850 or something other fans. Now, unless I could be wrong with the 8,000 corporate, I don't know if they're involved in the season ticket owners and holders either. So
probably not. Probably not.
Well, if not, then you've got 17,000 or 18,000. So it's
what I was saying. No, Adrian.
Mobilize them, right?
Adrian.
No. The problem is mobilize and support. If
Adrian.
Strongly. Now, listen, the protest movement had a fantastic effect on Levy, right? With the balloons, everything else in the South Stand.
Yeah, that definitely got to him. That definitely got to him.
Yeah, it definitely got to him, Tom. It did.
Yeah, it did.
And
it
rightly
did.
so. And rightly
It
fucking
did.
so. Now, I try to take an objective view on all things regarding the club. There's a lot of things I don't like, right? But like that had an effect, and I thought, yeah, fucking right, have an effect. Yeah, I was right behind the effect. Like I say, I'm not the most. Listen, I'll be honest. I'm not the most ardent Levy out fan. I don't do hate. That is not in my vocabulary. I'm not going to poison my soul and do hate. Those that want to, that's fine. I've stood on a protest couple of movements. Was I really that ardent about it when I was there? Went there, solidarity. That was it, right? That was it. And that's me, right? Others, they take a different approach, a more hardline approach. Fine. I mean, I'm really pissed off with the fact that the club's lack of empathy for the fan base. Would like to see a cultural change where there's more consideration for the fans, more consideration for like the those people that have got disabilities, that the carers have got to pay fucking full ticket price.
Yeah, that's
my
disgrace,
ticket
mate.
went up 50 fucking quid, right? But I haven't bought a thing in that stadium since it happened, and I've actually saved buckets of money, right? I actually filled in a questionnaire like, no, I don't buy food in the stadium, I don't buy drink, which maybe they'll probably take that from me and put me on blacklist now.
Well, probably. Right, Adrian, me and Tom was talking about this in the back room. We were discussing the Levy out stuff and all that. And I said, right, it's too late to get Levy out now. He's built the shiny new stadium that basically, let's face it, it's a money printing machine. That's all it is, right? And so he's built that, right, not with his money, with borrowed money, obviously, right? Why, if you get your business to where you want it to go, and he's making a potload every game and all the rest of the events that go on, never mind, because let's not forget we got fucking NFL, rugby, boxing, concerts.
It's going up to 35 events, isn't it?
Yeah, God knows what else we got there. Why is he going to sell it now? The time to get him out is before the bloody stadium opened.
My argument with the empathy and the cultural changes, how much fucking money do these greedy bastards want?
Well, exactly.
How much money do they want? Right? Why can't we get an Elon Musk? Listen, if you're going to... Right, okay, right. You're going to buy a football club, right? Anyone that wants to buy a football club must be a fucking nutcase, right? Because no matter how much money you want to spend on a team or a squad, the fans will always, right, want you to spend more, right? That's if you're a person who hasn't got limitless funds, right? That's it. So we'd all like a sugar daddy to come in, or mummy nowadays, being politically correct. You'd always want one to come in and like clear the debt, blah, 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 under the rules. And I've always said, what I've always wanted is that we can spend the maximum amount of money we can under the rules, not stop short of it. Do I believe we did in the last window? No. I think there was money left over. Do I think we'll spend in January? We might get a player in one. I don't see.
I reckon one.
Yeah. Another child.
As much as I would love Eze, I hope it's Dordu, actually. I really hope it's Dordu.
No. It'll be another kid, Adrian, one for the future. We all know that. Well, that's the way we're going.
Ian, what's your take on that? Do you think we will spend money in January?
I've come to a conclusion that we need to, this Levy out is a complete misnomer. It's not a matter of Levy out. We need somebody to come and buy the club lock, stock and barrel. And Levy needs to go.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Because I've come to the conclusion that and it's a reluctant conclusion, because he's done an awful lot of good from where we were under Sugar, a small stadium, etc. But the reality, it was, from a business point of view, it took someone to be really brave and to take that next step to develop the team, and he's clearly unwilling to do it. I don't know what goes on in his head. He keeps himself very much to himself. I suspect that we've all been done to an extent that it really is about the money and about making money for him and his family and what have you. I don't know if David Clark's still there, by the way.
Which any good businessman will do. Let's be fair.
Say that again, Tom.
Which any good businessman would do, like all of us would do. As a businessman, doesn't it? You only look after yourself. You don't care about anybody else.
Oh yeah. But
he's doing
I
what
mean,
he's doing.
He
What he's
could
got. He's doing what he's got to do.
He could
but
be
Tom,
an
how much money
absolute
do you
hero.
need? I mean, like Levy
Yeah,
is reputed to own like 29.7% of ENIC, right? So he's virtually a billionaire in his own right.
Yeah.
What the hell are you going to do with that
He
money? You're
knows
going to leave it in a bank
what-
and let it stink. You're going to leave it in a bank and let it stink. Now, I'm not saying he should spend it on Tottenham, right? But where's the attitude towards, like, you know, the empathy?
Why not? Spend it on Tottenham. Spend it on Tottenham. Forget about the fucking other events. Spend it on Tottenham.
No one's more Levy out than me. After going for 35 years, and I absolutely love Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, I stopped going completely. I've not even gone inside that new stadium, and I won't until he's gone.
See, there's a big difference between personal income, what you've got for all your other businesses, and the money that a club generates. Now, I don't give a shit about the events. Now, there's a lot of sneering about that. I get it, because people want to have another poke at the club and the board and all that. But to me, I'm next to Tottenham. It's a fucking poor area. You got 30 events. Anytime that stadium's not in use, if you can put an event on and it pumps money into the local economy, I'm 100% behind that. I
drive through there every night. I work nights. I drive through the area every night going to work. 11 o'clock at night, and it's a terrible place to go.
I mean, at times it was like, you know, 6 people were looking for every job in Tottenham. And that's even if you're like a sort of menial job, right? It is not, you know, a rich area at all.
No.
Right? Although it will become gentrified eventually, it will.
Don't know about that.
They're not gonna. He's not gonna do it, is he? He's not gonna do what we want him to do. He ain't.
Well, the only way he's going to do it if we want Levy out chants become really loud and they persist after another manager's gone. The last time that it was really loud was when he had Nuno. He got rid of Nuno. He brought in Conte, and it all went quiet. My gut feeling this time, because there's people like Adrian and people like myself who have not been like with the Kaufman Dagels of this world of wanting Levy out at all costs.
I'm one of those as well, by the way.
Sorry?
I'm one of those as well, by the way.
Well, that's okay. but what I'm and Mark is as well. But what I'm saying is that when people like that Adrian and myself are suddenly saying, look, we got to try this a different way. This isn't working. I think then that Levy's in trouble. If he can't keep people like me and Adrian on side, then there must be hundreds of thousands of others like us that will just say, we want to go a different way. Now, that doesn't mean, and I've had this conversation with Brian, funnily enough, early this morning, that anybody but Levy, it was actually yesterday, because we were talking about that American from the Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry Jones.
And Brian was absolutely vociferous in his opinion that there's no way he wants that guy, which is why I think the anybody but Levy argument is dangerous. So, for example, I don't want Qataris. I mean, we hear about this. What's his Stavely, and she's in league with Qataris and what have you. Well, it's at the end of the day, it's a club with a big Jewish history. And the Qataris are the people that are giving Hamas shelter and money and what have you. Whether they would want to invest in a ostensibly Jewish football club is another matter. But the fact is, a significant number of the supporters would be dead against it. Americans. So I don't see a lot of Arabs being interested in investing in Tottenham. I really don't. Americans, it's got to be the right Americans.
Let's be clear about this, right? Any billionaire investor in this club, no billionaire investor or investors come squeaky clean, do they? You don't earn an honest fucking billion. Let's be fair.
So, Lewis, So Lewis ain't squeaky clean.
No.
Yeah. So
No.
yeah, exactly. Same again, Paraguay and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I was going to say Joe Lewis bankrupted the country.
So then you start thinking like, oh, who would we prefer? Well, you know, I look at the Middle East. Well, like we're getting political now. I don't really want to go there. Like,
Yeah, no,
there's no
end the show.
No, we're not in this show. There's no democracy.
End the stream, Dave.
Don't want them, right? I'd rather have an American investor, maybe a rich, Japanese or Chinese investor. I'd take that over anyone over the Middle East. That's just me. That's just my opinion on that, right?
That's enough. That's enough about politics.
Yes, let's kill the politics now, right?
Yeah.
Ian,
Adrian. Sorry, I'm just replying to Jose on the private chat. In all fairness, that's fair. But we talk about investor. By definition, an investor is going to want a return on their money.
Exactly.
So, this is where we have to be careful. Granted, Enoch and Levy and what have you, they invested, and I think their only real interest was in investing in the club for their for their own personal wealth. But what happens if we get somebody else that's just the same, or even worse? It has to be somebody that has a genuine commitment to. This is why I'm interested in the Americans that wants to see Tottenham Hotspur as part of a worldwide brand, in which the success of the brand is critical to the overall strategy of their business. Not someone like Lewis and Levy, who bought into the club because they understood the potential that ownership of an EPL club would give them, and have managed to make an absolute fortune. And whilst of course they've spent money, they've never spent the kind of money relative to other clubs that would take us to the next level. And every time when we've come close, they've shut themselves.
Yeah, we don't want an owner like the Glazers when they leached about 600 million out of Man United, or an owner that's going to pile even more debt on this club. That's what we don't want. What we want is, the ideal situation to me is, why would any multi-billion organization, hedge fund or whatever, want to invest in a football club? What is their goal in it? Now, I would like to think, maybe I'm being naive and you guys can come back at me on this, right, is the fact that, say it was Elon Musk, right? The stadium looks like a spaceship. Come on, it's SpaceX Stadium. Naming rights, blah, blah, blah. Why are you investing in Spurs? Well, you're a shiny jewel in London. You've got all these other events. The more events you have, the more attractive you are to my prospective partners. And Elon Musk, being probably the richest man on the planet, or reputed to be that like, oh, if Elon Musk is interested in Spurs stadiums, we want to be a part of that as well, because we were a part of that as well. So you get all these additional sponsorships, blah, 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 and all that. And Elon Musk is worth so much money. He's not interested in Spurs because of, football team per se as such. He's interested because that attracts more business to all these hundreds or thousands of companies that are involved with him, and he can entertain and wine and dine prospective clients and do it that way. You do not get involved in a club like Tottenham in London, to make money, because let's get real, guys, to make money, right? No matter how much money a club has got left over, even under Levy, who's a prick, right? Under his tenure, right? Whatever you spend will never be enough for the fan base. They'll always want more. And it's not just the same. It's just not just Spurs. It's the same everywhere you are. Every club's ownership, the fan base will always want to spend more. And as Sugar said when he left Spurs, if I spent all my wealth on Tottenham and left, what thanks would I get? None. And that's true. And that is true. So you need someone to come in and take this club over that, money basically means nothing to them. I don't want an Arab state with multi-billions. I'd prefer it to be an Elon Musk or, a multi-billion organization from America, because we've got the attraction now. They know where Tottenham Hotspur is. They found that without the naming rights deal, Spurs, they know where Tottenham is because of the NFL games.
Yeah.
I don't want.
That's why they ain't got naming rights. He's put the club name into people's
heads. And also, Tom, because the 2028 Euros or World Cup, you can't have your stadium as one of the participants if you've got naming rights. But I also hearing that is changing. That might change before.
Can I also say though, Adrian? Can I just say, right? With the you said about the naming rights, I believe I heard it somewhere. There's a new American football game out now, Madden or so. It's the NFL game on the consoles. The Tottenham Stadium is in that, and they reference it in the commentary as the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now, if you're in America, right, most Americans, there are quite a few, I'm not like saying anything about Americans, big up to them, but like most Americans ain't got a bloody clue who Tottenham are because they don't follow football. They don't. They like their baseball. They like their NFL.
Well, I think we've got quite a following over there now.
We have, yes, but you got to remember, say we got 30 million followers in America. That's like fucking 1% of the population of America. Most of the Americans, but if they're playing Madden, the NFL game, and they suddenly hear the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, what the fuck's this? Who's this Tottenham? And suddenly they might, they're a soccer team, as they'd say in America. Oh, so let's have a look at that. And then they might go and get a shirt. It's very clever from Levy not to have naming, the stadium name.
That was more by accident, I think, more a bit of serendipity.
No, but it's very clever. It's very clever.
Todd Klein was brought in as commercial manager to sort out this naming rights deal.
And he'd done absolutely nothing.
Oh, no, hold on. No, get it right. Commercial manager to do with all commercial activities.
Yeah.
That's all the activities. It might have been Get Air or Cinch. One of them's gone now, right? They've gone broke or something. It would have been all of that, right? So it wouldn't have just been, but part of his remit was getting naming rights for the stadium.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming, and we was having the American football. What the board, the rumour is, if it's true or not, found out, hang about, the stadium's called Tottenham Hotspur. We're now on the map around the planet. NFL.
I just told you, Adrian, if you'd listened to what I said, it's that Madden game. It's called Madden or something.
It's more than that. The stadium is now on the map. It's a bit like when a team gets through in the FA Cup, like Tamworth, you never heard of them. Everyone's looking on the map. Where the fucking hell's Tamworth, right?
Yeah.
They're looking. The same thing's happened with the stadium. And they found, hang about, there's no rush because we're being put on a map. Maybe wrong. That's the sort of vibes that have been coming out.
No, it's true. It's true because even with the boxing, the Tyson Fury, how many people around the world watch Tyson Fury? Oh, we're watching Tyson Fury at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There you go, is another one.
Yeah.
At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, all over the radio, going out all over the world. So
right. Important things are going on in the world at the moment. New Zealand all out for 125. Gus Atkinson took the last 3 wickets, got a hat-trick with the last 3 balls of the innings. 3 absolute corkers as well.
And I'm going to watch it when we finished. If I get time.
England have a lead of 155 going into bat on doesn't look like a high-scoring match, so England get 250. They should well win this, wrap up this test and the series. That's the really important things. But
and footballing,
I'm going to watch that after. I'm going to put that on after.
Unless you guys have got anything to add.
No, I was just going to add. What other channel do you get live cricket scores?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. For those of you in the chat, yeah.
Well, guys, for those of you in the chat, we got 47 of you stayed with us. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you enough.
Smash the likes.
If you like the content on our channel, it's Friday night. Me and him had a few beers, right? I hope you've all had a few beers yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's been really good. It's been a really good debate, right? And like I say, thank you. Big up to everyone that might be watching this later on playback, right? And we're going to play you out with this, which is fantastic.